Deep in the Prowler zone, bodies hit the ice. Prowlers asking for a call. They're gonna have to keep asking. No arm goes up. They've let him play here in the early going. Gonzalez knocks it away from his crease to the near side. Millette has been all over the ice for Port Huron in the early going. Ringing around the boards to the far side, Cody Oakes. Shovels it ahead, Hall. Puts it inside the blue line, delayed offsides. Hall went down, doesn't matter. Federally into the other end. The Port Huron captain takes his time, looks around, shot, missed wide. Hall comes in, has it on the half wall. Leaves it back, looking for Colton Rotundi to the board. One-timer sticked away by Gonzalez. Didn't know where the puck is, it's on the far side. Shot hit the crossbar. Gonzalez had no idea it was in the far circle, and they nearly took advantage of it. Another save by the stick of Gonzalez. 13:45 to go, first period. 1-0 Port Huron. Reggie Millette scored on the first shot of the game. Port Huron controlling the tempo right now. Bussel to the point. Holds it on the forehand, shot deflected. Simmons Fisher couldn't settle the puck down. And Motor City looking for a reprieve. They'll send it down the ice and get some fresh legs coming off the bench. Simmons Fisher, tallest man in the Fed, pass broken up. Gullo looked to the center and it was taken away. Vincent DeCumbis over all three lines to the right wing circle. Pass never really had a home, and Eli Rivers leaves it back. Sneath pushed off the puck. 13 minutes to go in the first period. 1-0 Port Huron. Slap shot from Johnson. Save. Rebound. Bounces back to the point after it touched the stick of Rivers. Alex Johnson brings it to the far corner. On the forehand. Wraparound pass. Deflected away. TJ Sneath aiding his netminder. Port Huron carrying the play. Shot gloved and a much needed whistle for the Motor City Rockers. 12:36 to go in the first period. It's 1-0. Port Huron on top. Don't go anywhere. You're watching Motor City Rockers hockey.
Picked up up front, shot, scores! Number one now, shot, scores! Here we go, Snitson, we got a full line roll! FPHL full line roll! Hell yeah!
Hey, this is TJ Sneath from the Motor City Rockers, and you're watching the Rockers Broadcast Network, powered by KE Electric Supply.
If you're just joining us, 1-0 Port Huron, and earlier in the week, it was a very hectic week here at Big Boy Arena. The Rockers traded Avery Smith to Athens and Trevor Babin to Columbus. They got future considerations in both deals, but alongside the Avery Smith deal, Timur Gavrilovic, the man you see tonight, the big bruising Belarusian out on the ice for Motor City, and Brendan Ronan, who will be with the Rockers sooner rather than later. Hopefully expect to see him in the purple and black as soon as next week. 12:36 to go, opening stanza. Reggie Millette from Alex Johnson and Luke Lakney made it 1-0 Port Huron rather, within the first minute of the hockey game. Prowlers were controlling play before the break. It was a much-needed media timeout for Motor City to try to gather themselves. Shots 8-2 so far in the first period, favoring Port Huron. Stats all season long brought to you by PSN Technologies. Millette walks it up, shot saved to the corner. Tristan Wells trying to get it out of the zone, finds Nick McGill-Diaz in between the blue lines. Over the Rockers logo, he'll flip it in deep. Ryder and Miguel-Diaz chase after it. Back to neutral ice. Picked up by Mac Diver. From the corner, Banks Cooper settles it down behind his own net. Motor City trying to find a little bit of tempo in this. Millette over the blue line into the offensive zone. Head fakes in deep, looking for Tristan Sim. Knocked back far side. Diver. Got it by Wells and Blaney. They're going to say nobody touched it, specifically Blaney in white. icing the call, and the Rockers will have to keep the same 5 out there. On the draw, it's Chris Corrigan. He stares across Tristan Sim. Goes to Miguel Diaz off the low glass and took a funky hop. Shot from point blank, and Gonzalez stands tall. Oh, even I lost sight of the puck. Think it hit the stanchion and, well, basically set up Port Huron from the edge of the crease. Shots now 10-2 in favor of the Prowlers. .11:33 to go, first period, 1-0 Motor City trails. Trying to get back in this battle of I-94, the series that the last 2 seasons, the only 2 seasons the Rockers have had the upper hand in. Rotundi behind his own net. He finds Gavrilovich ahead for Oaks. Makes a man miss. Right wing circle. Oaks shot that was altered. Heck of a job in his own end. Fancy hands from Cody Oaks. But ultimately, it was Brett Lockhart that locked down his own end and assisted Reed Cooper. Because I'll tell you what, Cody Oaks beat him clean, but Lockhart going to get a penalty for it. Excuse me, didn't see the initial call, and the Rockers going on the power play. Power play presented by Continental Electric Products. They're proudly made in Michigan, and they provide power solutions to industry. Continental, a premier partner of the Motor City Rockers. 11:16 to go in the first period. First power play for either side. The Rockers control it off the draw. Leading scorer Rivers over to Miguel Diaz. Shot deflected. It'll go back to the neutral zone into the Rockers' end. And Motor City will have to touch up a quick change for Port Huron. Just about 15 seconds into the man advantage. Rivers along the half wall, puts on the brakes. Pushed it back to Miguel Diaz, over to Gullo. He'll collect it off a bank. Backhanded it down low. Sneath pressuring behind the net. Heinzel getting handsy. Play goes on, squirts back to Gullo. And we'll get a whistle. And are they taking someone from Motor City, or is it coming? It's was it offside? It wasn't offside. Excuse me, hand pass was the call. So hand pass, the call. Apologies. Just didn't see the signal. Simmons Fisher. Oh, he goes down. Gullo avoided him. Miguel Diaz, right wing circle. Sneath back to Gullo. Shot missed wide of the net. Rivers tried to keep it in. Behind Hunter Hall, trying to use that big frame. Back to Miguel Diaz at the point. 1:03 left to go in the Continental Electric Products power play. Rockers trail by 1, looking to even the score. Rivers walks it up. Shot saved by the glove of Cooper. Had traffic out in front. Had Eli Rivers where you wanted him. Reed Cooper makes a pretty strong save. Draw to the right of Reed Cooper. It's Corrigan, Tellstrom, Wells, Colton, and Blaisdell looking to even the score here in the opening stanza. Corrigan off the draw, tie up, and Johnson pressured by Wells trying to get it out of the zone. Lost the puck, and Colton can't knock it down. 47 seconds left to go, and the minor penalty to Brett Lockhart. Colton from his own end. Over to Corrigan, over the red line. Dumps it in diagonally. Blaisdell chops at it right into the glove of Cooper. He snagged that pretty nonchalantly. And 9:49 to go in the first period. It's time to pay some bills. 1-0. Port Huron leads Motor City on Reggie Millet's goal. We'll take a break, come back, don't go anywhere. You're watching Motor City Rockers hockey.
Hey, band members. Follow the Motor City Rockers on social media. On Facebook, X, and YouTube at Rockers Hockey. On Instagram and TikTok, find them at Motor City Rockers. For tickets, schedule, and more, visit RockersHockey.com. Rock on.
106.7 WLLZ. Detroit's Wheels is classic rock that rocks.
Metallica,
Guns N' Roses,
Aerosmith,
AC/DC,
Pearl Jam.
Ozzy.
106.7 WLLZ. Detroit's Wheels.
1-0 Port Huron leads here in Fraser. Let's take a look at what's going on around the Fed. Danbury and Binghamton deadlocked at 1. Carolina a 2-0 lead over Watertown. Blue Ridge leads HC Benham 1-0, and no score in the other 3 games tonight. 9:49 to go, first period, 1-0. Port Huron leads. Motor City looking for the equalizer. Still just over a half minute left to go in the Lockhart minor penalty. Draw will come on the left wing circle in the Port Huron end. Off the draw, and Simmons Fisher quickly down the length of the ice. Gonzalez settles it down. Rockers will get one more rush. Prowlers patiently wait. Colton up to Corrigan. Over the red line, diagonal dump in. Blaisdell comes down, tries to get it back to Wells. 13 seconds till we're back to 5-a-side hockey. Along the near half wall. Pinned to the boards, Corrigan comes away with it. 6 seconds on the man advantage. Blaisdell shot deflected, and it's back to neutral ice. We're back to even strength hockey. 9:15 to go, first period. 1-0 Port Huron. Tellstrom drops it off. Colton with a blast, and it's kicked away by Cooper. Back to Blaisdell. Fakes the shot, slides it, and into the glove of Reed Cooper. Tellstrom and Wells, some extra pushing and shoving. We'll see if order is kept. Looks like it will stay as the Rockers go off for a change. Now I want to remind you there's a couple similarities. The Rockers, Matthias Tellstrom, and for the Port Huron Prowlers, it's Ludwig Thelstrom. So it's just so if you hear two similar names, that's the difference, and that was Thelstrom getting into it with Wells. Offensive zone draw again. Just kidding, we'll have to redo it. So the Rockers didn't score. They carried play for the majority of that power play, as you expect. Hopefully that at least tilts the ice back a little more even, or even in the Rockers' favor. See if they continue to hold the play. Sneath can't win the draw. Port Huron has been solid in their own end. Rotundi pokes it away. Rivers couldn't settle it down. Lockhart ahead. Marty lost it in front of the benches. Marty regains it just past the outstretched stick of Gullo. Rotundi got in the way of the pass. Down low in the Motor City end, Sneath trying to dig it out. Rotundi throws a body. He knocks him down to the ice. Here's another hit. Again, it's always going to be testy. Water starts near boiling before these two even drop the puck. They play each other 14 times this season, and they don't, trust me, they are very used to seeing each other, even though there's a lot of newcomers to this rivalry in the purple and black. Millette, shot deflected by Diver. He's in his first battle of I-94. Along the half wall, battle for the puck. Diver chops at it, back to the point. Heinzel gives down low. Back to Heinzel. Taking his time, chips down low again. Gavrilovich using that big frame, pinning the body to the boards. Comes out near the slot, but it's Nick Gullo, the first one to find it. Gullo skates it out of the zone towards the logo. He had 3 white sweaters in front of him. He'll dump it in deep. Kabatayev forces the cover, and the Rockers get an offensive zone draw. 7:32 to go, first period. 1-0 Port Huron. Shot starting to even up a bit now, 11-7 in favor of the Prowlers. Kabatayev on the draw against Busel. Hops back, Hall settled it down. Back to Kabatayev, works his way, shot just went high and wide. A lot of effort to put it near the net, just couldn't pick the corner. Gonzalez will call for icing. He will be granted the icing call. We go all the way back down to the Prowlers' end. Oaks, Hall, Kabatayev, McGill, Diaz, McDiver out there for Motor City. It's Bussel, Federley alongside Lockhart, Blaney, and on the far side, Scantlebury for Port Huron. The aforementioned Scantlebury dumped it in. McGill Diaz knocked it down along the near side boards. Scantlebury with it once again behind the net. Left wing circle, shots. It missed. I believe that missed Gonzalez. Net came off for a second, and that's enough to draw the whistle, and we'll get a face-off in the Rockers' end. .6:58 to go, first period, 1-0 Port Huron scored 43 seconds in. Reggie Millette. Rockers, ever since the power play, have had the puck more than they have, and his diver lost it. Still getting it near the blue line. Kabatayev ahead to Oaks. Oaks and Kabatayev. Return feed broken up, didn't have much room. Along the boards, it squirts out for Tristan Sim. Pass right to the tape. Unfortunately for him, it was to Doug Blaisdell, and Motor City dumps it in, goes off for a change. Fellstrom, two-line pass, finds the stick of Millette. Left wing circle, Millette, pressure, tried to lead for Graham, left it on the ice, no one there to collect. And then it banks in front of the Port Huron bench to the near side, hops up over the industrial fan, still in play. Josh Colton puts it ahead at the blue line, Graham. Onside, pass parallel with that blue line. And Port Huron trying to set everything up. Rockers pestering them in the neutral zone. Graham to the left side, Millette brings it in close, and he missed. There was some contact, no arm went up. Another save for Gonzalez, and Port Huron starting to carry the play. Deflection, Gonzalez scrambling, puck still on the far side, off the glass, and Motor City gets a reprieve. They send it down the length of the ice, a hectic sequence, and it stays 1-0 Port Huron. Rivers nearly took it away from Simmons Fisher. Over to the far side, Matt Graham surveys the scene, sauces it back to Simmons Fisher. On the near side, Scantlebury works it to the bottom of the right wing circle, centering feed, didn't find a home. Lockhart used the glove to keep it in. Dahlstrom guided into the boards. Still in the Rockers' end, looking for another feed between the circles, broken up, and Dahlstrom picks it up. Matias backhands to the right side, Rivers onside by a hair. He's knocked to the boards again. The physicality, Gullo, shot, saved, rebound collected by Lockhart. Gullo knew he had room, let it rip. But Reed Cooper, he's made 10 saves here in the early going. 4:40 to go, first period, 1-0 Port Huron leads Motor City. Diver, bank pass is taken away, but it's grabbed right back by Kabatayev. Back to Rico. Behind the boards, Kabatayev battling for position. Goes along for Hall, back to the blue line. Johnson keeps it in. Pass broken up, it stayed off the high glass. Play goes on, Gavrilovich over to Hall. On the rush, Hunter Hall gave it right back to Thelstrom. Behind the net, Oaks comes up, ties it. He pokes it in deep along the near side boards. 4 minutes to go, first period. 1-0 Port Huron. Hall trying to ward off Johnson. Delayed penalty, and it's going to be against Motor City as there was a slash behind the play, and I think Ludwig Thelstrom just cost his team a power play. There was a delayed call on Port Huron, and in plain view of the official, Ludwig Thelstrom took a nice hack at Hunter Hall. So if I had to hazard a guess, we'll have 4-on-4 when we come back. 3:50 to go in the first period. We'll find out the ruling after this. You're watching Motor City Rockers hockey.
Hi, Avery Smith with Motor City Rockers. My favorite thing about Crunch Fitness is their free weight section. Bench press, dumbbell bench, I'll do rows, about anything you can think of.
I'm Chris Buys. I'm currently on the IR. Crunch Fitness, it's got a lot of machines, weights, super beneficial for PT, for my injury right now. They got a nice turf over there too, which is super helpful.
Security Georges here. But one thing I really like about Crunch Fitness is the tanning beds. Rain or snowstorm outside, I don't miss a day in the sun, so I'm always getting my nice bronze color.
106.7 WLLZ. Detroit's Wheels is classic rock that rocks.
Metallica,
Guns N' Roses,
Aerosmith,
AC/DC,
Pearl Jam.
Ozzy.
106.7 WLLZ, Detroit's Wheels.
Hey, this is Sam Gagnon from the Motor City Rockers, and you're watching the Rockers Broadcast Network, powered by KE Electric Supply. Go Rockers!
So here is the play. First, you'll see Cody Oaks. He draws that penalty in the crease, so that's the initial call. And you see the arm is up. And then if you keep going, right there you see the slash to Hunter Hall. And Ludwig Thelstrom just straight up cost his team a power play. We'll go 4-on-4 for 2 minutes. Cody Oaks in the box along with Thelstrom. It is 4-on-4 because they were two separate minor penalties. Oaks for interference, Thelstrom for slashing. A little bit more open ice. McGill Diaz ahead to Rivers. Gives it inside Sneath. Backhand save, rebound, and a second chance. Hop just over the net after a piece of it was knocked away by Cooper. Sneath over to McGill Diaz. He walks it up, left wing circle, shot deflected just a bit wide. Mac Diver trying to muddy up the waters in front. After that first goal, it's been, both sides have had opportunities, and when 38's been on the ice for Port Huron, he's been a problem. He has the first goal, and he's had a couple of chances since. 1:22 left to go in the 4-on-4. Puck knocked ahead, Rivers raced for it, but the large Simmons Fisher gets there first. Gullo couldn't knock it off his stick. 3:02 to go, first period, 1:11 to go in the 4-on-4. At the red line, Simmons Fisher can't get around Gullo. Quite the height difference. Officially, a 1.2 inches difference between the 6'8" Simmons Fisher and the 5'6" Gullo. Have a feeling that might be a little generous. And a penalty coming up. Guess who? Tucker Scantlebury. And Hall came in. Scantlebury with a few more punches. Well, it took 17 minutes and 19 seconds before Tucker Scantlebury got involved with shenanigans. And Scantlebury and Hall will go. The question is, are they offsetting? You know, I thought with Trevor Babin gone, maybe Tucker Scantlebury wouldn't be in the mix of any shenanigans, but shame on me. I should have known better. So let's see what the ruling is. They both go to the box. Have a feeling Motor City might get a power play. If they do, I presume it would be a double minor. If not, they could give Hall 2 for roughing as well. So we're waiting for the verdict to be rendered. They're looking up at the scoreboard. Motor City's putting 4 guys on the ice. 2 go up for Port Huron, and we're back on the Continental Electric Products power play. Proudly made in Michigan, they provide power solutions to industry. Continental, a premier partner of the Motor City Rockers. 51 seconds left to go in the penalties to Oaks and Thelstrom respectively. 2 minutes on the board to Tucker Scantlebury, and the rare 4-on-3 man advantage. Corrigan, Thelstrom, Blaisdell, and Colton looking to even the score at 1. It's Busso, Simmons, Fisher, and Alex Johnson for Port Huron. Corrigan, back to the point. A lot of ice to work with. Near side, Colton. The Rocker captain surveys the scene. Left wing, Thelstrom walks it up. Back to Colton. Shot gloved out of the air by Reed Cooper. He's seen the puck well tonight. Just 16 seconds elapsed on the Scantlebury minor penalty. The official penalties each got 2 for roughing, that's Hunter Hall and Scantlebury, but an extra 2 for interference to Scantlebury, served by Lakeney. From the half wall, Rivers to McGill Diaz. He takes his time, back to Rivers, walks it up. He was cut off by Simmons Fisher. Rivers taking his time, 30 seconds into the power play, a bit off to TJ Sneath. Back to Rivers. Oh no, excuse me, Sneath even fooled me. Drops it back, McGill Diaz tried to slide it in, kept in deep. Rivers, one touch, gets it back to Rivers. To the right side, Sneath, slap shot just wide of the net. He let it rip, just couldn't find the target. We'll have 2 guys coming out of the box, now a 5-on-4 man advantage. 1:45 to go in the first period. 1:03 left on the Continental Electric Products power play. McGill Diaz skated into the zone. He'll attract a few white sweaters into the corner. Rivers to Sneath, back to Gullo. Right side, McGill Diaz returns to Gullo. Near side, Rivers on net. Well, scores! Rockers even it up here in the final 90 seconds of the opening period. And guess who was in front of the net? Big 57, Tristan Wells. Let's take another look. I have gotten so many Tristan Wells goals wrong this year, but he's screening out Cooper, and I don't think he got a piece of it there. So I'm gonna guess that is Eli Rivers, number 23, his 23rd of the season. 1:21 to go in the first period. We're tied at 1. As of now, I'm gonna guess it's Eli Rivers. They are announcing it as Rivers. I feel bad because you have Tristan Wells has 14 goals this year, and I'd probably give him credit for like 2 or 3. Final minute of play in the first period. We got a 1-1 hockey game. First 90 seconds and the last 90 seconds have netted a goal. The middle was pretty even. Left wing circle shot saved by Gonzalez. Picked up by Ryder. Slides ahead, Corrigan left it behind. Gavrilovich over to Corrigan. Off the end boards, Cooper comes out to play it. Half a minute to go in the opening stanza. 1-1 hockey game. Stick with us through intermission. See my sit down with Nick Field, the general manager, talk about what his thought process was throughout the trade deadline and what he sees for the future. 15 seconds to go first period. Kabataya pins it to the boards. Blaisdell in there. Federally trying to mine it out. He collects. 7 seconds left. Drops it back. Gullo to the near corner and will go to the locker room. Tied at 1. Eli Rivers, his 23rd of the season. Evened it up on the power play with $1:22 to go in the first. We'll take a break, come back, recap the first period and more. You're watching Motor City Rockers hockey.
Hey, band members, follow the Motor City Rockers on social media. On Facebook, X, and YouTube at Rockers Hockey. On Instagram and TikTok, find them at Motor City Rockers. For tickets, schedule, and more, visit rockershockey.com. Rock on!
106.7 WLLZ. Detroit's Wheels is classic rock that rocks.
Metallica,
Guns N' Roses,
Aerosmith,
AC/DC,
Pearl Jam,
Ozzy.
106.7 WLLZ. Detroit's Wheels.
Back here on the Rockers Media Network. 1-1 Motor City and Port Huron tied after a period of play. It was the start and the end of the period that netted the goals. First shot of the game, 43 seconds in. Reggie Millette, an absolute beauty of a backhand. Listen, I was upset it went in, but sometimes you just got to recognize when someone did something pretty darn cool. And Millette, from just in front of the crease, went backhand bar down to give Port Huron the early 1-0 edge. Lucas Lakey and Alex Johnson on the assist. Then it wouldn't be until the 1839 mark when on the power play, Eli Rivers feathered a shot to the far post. It didn't hit Tristan Wells, but he was screening out in front. Reed Cooper didn't see it. He was able to sneak it inside that far post and even the score at 1-1. Nick Gullo gets credit for an assist, his 20th of the year, while TJ Sneath in his first game back gets assist number 11. 1-1 our score after one. We'll take a quick break. When we come back, you'll hear my conversation with General Manager Nick Field. Talked about the trade deadline, his thought process in getting rid of Trevor Babin, Avery Smith, and really what it all entailed and what he's looking for the rest of this season and beyond. So stay right here. My conversation with Nick Field coming up next here on the Rockers Media Network. Welcome back to the Rockers Media Network. I'm Brady Beaton, and we're sitting down with a Rockers general manager, Nick Field, post-trade deadline coming down the home stretch. Nick, very busy man on Monday. Made some pretty bold moves. Trevor Babin and Avery Smith both get traded to Columbus and Athens, respectively. I guess before we even talk about the return, let's go through the thought process and where you were and where you think the Rockers are as you approach the trade deadline and those decisions.
So a lot goes into it, of course. You know, we've been here with the new ownership and myself back in this role for about 6 weeks, I think. And obviously the roster is quite a bit different than when we started. The goal was always to come in here slowly but surely, make solid additions that are going to make our team have more depth and be able to be more competitive on the ice. And also part of the big thing with what I like to do is bring guys in that are good fits in the locker room too. Like, culture is a big thing for us. We want guys that want to be here, that work hard first and foremost, and can be good teammates and good role models and good hockey players. So I think we're on the right track. The games over the past few weeks, we had a pretty tough run there with 5 games in a row versus the top 3 teams in the league between, you know, with Binghamton, Columbus, and then Athens. And I think if you go back and look, we've been playing much better hockey than we were 6 to 8 weeks ago. You know, a lot more responsible. We're not giving up, you know, tons of quality chances on a night in, night out basis. Our goals against have been lower. At the same time, you know, we're starting to produce more offense too. So I think the changes that we made have been successful as far as getting the team back to where a competitive level where we want to be. And I think you saw that last weekend. The Athens game, you know, the final score is 4-1. That included an empty net goal, a power play goal, and a shorthanded goal. We only give up 1 goal 5-on-5. And then Saturday night against Watertown, we found a way to win that game 3-2 in overtime. And I think we outshot them like 55 to 31. So that was not happening earlier this season. And, you know, it's starting to get to the point where we can start to do that. So that's kind of where we were heading into the weekend with the trade deadline. And, you know, we have made a handful of moves leading up to that. And I told the team the week before that, look, I'm not actively trying to shop anybody, but if we get some offers and it's just something that we, you know, it would be irresponsible to take, then we're going to make moves because we got to, you know, we had to build this team and build the foundation back up to put us in a good position for the future. So that's kind of how that went down.
So when you trade guys like Babbitt and Smith, obviously you're thinking the hockey side, but is there any part of you that goes, man, these are fan favorites, that this is going to be a little tougher to sell than maybe shipping out 2 other guys, because there is the other side of it that those are 2 guys that were pretty well beloved by the fans. Did that come into the thought process at all during the negotiations?
Yeah, of course it does. And, you know, let's talk about Babin specifically here. So he had been here since day one.
Yeah.
I think he was our first pick in the expansion draft. Okay. And Trevor and I have a great relationship. I respect the heck out of him as a person and a player. That move was for him. He had a really tough year this year. You know, he had a significant injury where he was out 6 to 8 weeks, I believe. He came back. He's been trying to find his game. And to be quite honest with you, he didn't have a great team defensively playing in front of him. So he's had a real tough go. So I thought it was a great opportunity for him to be able to go to a good organization, get a mental reset, and be able for him to go back and find his game and get him back on track. And then obviously the other side of that is now that we have Rico, and he is developed into a legitimate #1 goaltender as well. So I felt comfortable for Babs to give him that opportunity. At the same time, it's tough losing a guy like that, but you know, at the end of the day, you know, it's more about giving him an opportunity to help himself, knowing that we have Rico here with us.
Yeah.
So that was a catch-22. It's tough to see him leave, and you know, he'll be back around, I think, in the summertime. Like, he's still going to do his training and stuff like that. So, and I told him, hey, this isn't, you know, goodbye forever, it's goodbye for now. And you know, he felt a lot more comfortable with it after we had a good conversation. So you know, best of luck to him. And then Avery, that was Athens really wanted him. I actually had calls on Avery for about 3 weeks from multiple teams. Nothing really came through as far as something that I felt made sense for us.
Right.
Until this Athens deal came through. And, you know, I can't get into all the details right now, but, you know, from a player standpoint, we're getting plenty in return. You know, we had a couple guys up front, one of which is here with us now. The other one should be joining us next week. And then we have a few more players coming to us after the season's over. And then another couple guys at training camp. So the reality is, you know, for us to not take that offer, it would be irresponsible. And again, Avery, great guy. I love him. I know the fans loved him. He brings that element, you know, to the team, and that's, you know, what they wanted him down there to do as well. And again, in the stage that we're in, I felt like we had to take the opportunity to try and get some good players to help us rebuild. So that's where that came from.
Let's talk about a little bit about the guys you got back. Timur Gavrilovic, a big body, listed at 6'6". He's one of the guys that you noticed on the ice pretty quickly when Athens was here, even for one game. Brennan Ronan, the other one that will be here at a later time. But what about those guys did you see? Did it help seeing them in person last Friday, so you got to kind of have an idea of what it was like with your own two eyes, what you knew what you were getting back in return?
Yeah, so we were looking to secure our defensive core. You know, at the time last week we have 6 defensemen. We'd like to have 7 quality defensemen. So that, you know, definitely helped solve a problem right off the hop. Like you mentioned, big body, big steady, you know, reliable defensive defenseman. Right. Physical, big physical defenseman. So that instantly solved the problem that we had there. And then with the forward, again, a great college career, high tempo, fast skater. That's what we want. We want to be a fast team. We want to be 200 feet. The pace of the game nowadays, especially against some of these better teams, you know, we have the players that can play at that pace now, whereas, you know, 6 to 8 weeks ago we didn't, right? So again, just another good skater, good offensive addition that, you know, we can add to our group. And like Coach Milam was saying earlier, it's okay if guys aren't comfortable in the locker room. You shouldn't be comfortable to the point where you don't feel like anybody could ever take your job. Right. And if you're going to have a good team, you're going to have a bunch of guys that can play, and that's, you know, where we're at, and we're going to finish the season strong, I think.
One other move, not one that you may have had much of a hand in, but TJ Sneath gets healthy. That's basically a free addition at the deadline. How much does he help? Because he was a guy last year that stepped into a big role, and he was one of the leading guys before he went down this past year. How much does it help getting a guy like him back in the lineup?
Immensely. I mean, you take one of your top forwards and leaders, you know, that you have that's been out for roughly 8 weeks, I believe, maybe a little longer, and you put him back in. I mean, what else would you want? You know, we just traded for an all-star type player, basically by him coming off the IR. Right. So again, that adds more depth to our group. And like Coach Milam was talking about earlier, like when you're looking at the roster now, he has a hard time figuring out, hey, who am I going to sit out? What are my lines going to be? And that's what you want. So, you know, we're in a good spot. Like I said, with, you know, some of the additions we've made recently, you know, in addition to the trade deadline guys, the guys that come in earlier, like the Writers and the Corrigans. Mac Diver has been a great addition on the D-Corps as well, coming out of college. So we're in a much better spot than we were when we got here, and that's what we're striving to do, and we're looking to finish strong here. What do we have, 12 or 14 games left?
I think this is game 45 tonight right now, so... Yeah, 11 games after, 10 games after tonight.
Okay, so 12. Okay, so 12 total. Okay, so yeah, we're in a good spot, and there's no reason why we can't finish strong and roll into the playoffs here.
All right, well, I guess that kind of wraps up, because I was going to ask, what are you looking for the rest of the way? Because as far as player acquisition, maybe a college guy here or there, but the roster's basically set for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and Brady, you've been around for the first 2 years, so we don't like to have a lot of transactions, right? So if you noticed and paid attention the first 2 years, we had a pretty solid team. So there's not a lot of reason to have to make a lot of transactions. Usually on teams where you see them making a lot of transactions is because they're not doing very well.
Right.
So we have a good core group here. Like, we have a deep group. I like the guys in the room. The only reason we'll be making any moves at this point is if we have to move a guy off for roster space for one reason or another, or if it's a college guy. So we're comfortable with what we have. I like the group. I like the culture in the room. The biggest thing I like about this group is they compete for 3 periods. They play hard for 3 full periods, and that's the first thing any team needs to do to give themselves a chance. And I think that's a big reason why you've seen a progression in the quality of play over the last 3 to 4 weeks.
Well, Nick, I appreciate it. Thanks for taking some time, and hopefully we're talking about a really fun run here in the next 3-4 weeks or so.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks, Brady.
No problem. He's Nick Field. I'm Brady Beaton, and you're watching the Rockers Media Network.
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's James Campbell, your Motor City Rockers in-arena host, back again with another 5 minutes in the box. This time, I'm joined by the returning Nick Goro. Nick, how's it going, man?
Oh, it's going well. Excited to be here. Happy to do this, and let's rock here.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So, first game back as a Rocker this season. For those of you who don't know, I think you played on past seasons.
Yep, last season.
Last season. So, last season, you were a part of the Rockers team. First game back, scored the game-winning in overtime goal against the Port Huron Prowlers. How's that feel, man?
Exciting. I mean, most importantly, we got the win, right? And I think it showed a lot of resilience in our group coming back down 2-0 with, I think, under 4 minutes left. And obviously, it feels good to make a contribution. I guess it is a new team. Just to come in, help the boys get a win, right? Kind of solidify yourself, let them know you're here for the right reasons. And like I said, it got us the win, and that's most important.
I feel like it's got to feel a little extra special. A, returning to the team. And B, I believe you came from the Dashers, who haven't been doing so hot this season.
Yeah.
So to actually record a W on the team you're playing for had to absolutely feel good as well. So some of the fans that are new to the Rockers, can you tell me a little bit about your hockey journey? Like, where are you from? How did you get into hockey originally?
So I'm from Rochester, New York. And I actually grew up, my uncles were playing hockey just like recreational, like men's league or whatever. And from what my parents tell me, I was walking at about 9 months, and then they had me on skates at 1.5 years. And
no way. Wow.
Yeah. And I was like pretty typical, like skating on a pond or on a frozen parking lot as a kid. And it's honestly my earliest childhood memories are playing hockey or skating. And I was your typical kid, messing around the house, always had a hockey stick in my hand. It was always on the TV, and went through my local youth, like learn to skate program, and went through travel programs, traveled a little bit. I left home at 12 years old to go live out of town to play for a better youth program, and juniors, college, and now pro. So the rest is history. But to say it's been my whole life is pretty accurate. And I'm sure later in this video we'll get to what my business is now outside of hockey, which is still involved in hockey. But for sure, it's been everything I could have ever dreamed of and wanted, and I'm just happy that I've been part of this ride.
That's awesome. But yeah, you mentioned it, so tell us a little bit about what do you do when you're not on the ice playing hockey?
Yeah, so when I was in high school and college, I started helping out with just private lessons at my local rink, and as I've gotten older, I progressed and found that this is something that I have a knack for, and I really like to do it. So me and one of my best friends, we started our own business this summer called Hire Hockey. For the fans to check that out, get a plug, hirehockey.net. And I mentorship and video analysis for kids from 8 years old all the way up to Division I or Olympic hockey players.
Very
and
cool.
Just to go into a little bit about it, we'll clip their games and basically like what coach would do with us. We're going to go over film with them and, kind of help them on the journey their journey that we took, and just spread our tutelage to them.
Oh, very cool. Like passing some of the knowledge down to the younger generation.
Yep. And then obviously we do on ice while we're away playing our seasons respectively. It's a way to keep in contact and help the next generation of future players.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yep. You can kind of give back and keep the hockey alive in the youth. Because I feel like a lot of times now, like kids are more focused on like video games and being like influencers and stuff like that, and less about like being outside, being active and playing sports. So that's awesome.
And what's cool about it too is everyone says hockey's 90% mental and 10% physical. Well, everyone always teaches the on ice or the physical part, right? Where with us at Hire, we've really dove into the mental aspect of it and mental conditioning and therapy that goes on with athletes of all different ages, right? You have teenage kids who are going through God knows what with changes, and kids trying to get committed to schools, or maybe they're finding out that their parents want them to play hockey and it's really not for them. So there's so much more to the mental side, and that's kind of what we focused on. So it's really exciting. It's going incredibly well, and I hope everyone comes and checks out the website.
Oh, that's awesome. That's very cool. Hobbies, man. What do you do hobby-wise? Obviously, you're playing hockey.
Yep.
You're mentoring, the youth with hockey. What do you do that's not hockey related?
I don't know if this really counts. I went to school for exercise science and kinesiology, so I got my strength and conditioning degree.
Okay.
So I coach as a sport performance or sport specific type gym. So we're working with athletes, again, boys and girls of all different ages, all different levels, all the way up to Olympic athletes. So I do that a lot. I guess that's somewhat related to hockey. But other than that, I'm a huge. I like to hike a lot and kind of just go walking, like not anything like mountain peaks, but just walking through trails and stuff like
That's
that.
very cool. If you like the outdoors,
yeah,
that type of stuff. That's funny because Rico Gonzalez, we sat down and talked. Hiking was one of the things that he enjoyed doing as well.
Yeah.
What's the coolest place you've hiked?
Coolest place I've hiked. There's like some wildlife refuge in western or more central New York. It's called Montezuma, and it's pretty cool. It's just like a big marshland, but there's some forest to it, and you can see and I'm kind of nerd out with this stuff. You can see like over 100 to 200 different species of like birds and animals in this wildlife refuge.
Are you a bird guy?
A little bit, yeah. So my mom worked.
Never would have thought. A bird guy right here. We got gardeners, we got bird guys, you got it all.
My mom worked at the lab of ornithology for Cornell. So for those of you who don't know, the ornithology is the study of birds. So
that's what I would have assumed. I didn't know that for sure, but
so her job was basically to monitor certain species of birds that might be common or foreign, and just kind of study their behaviors and stuff. And she was doing that when I was a teenager. So whether I was reluctant or not, she dragged me out on trails with the big binoculars and telescopes, and I kind of found that was kind of cool. And I don't nerd out too much on it, but I know a little bit more than your common person. So it's kind of cool.
Do you have a favorite bird species you'd have to share?
No, nothing crazy.
No?
Nothing.
Okay.
No, a duck. Definitely a duck. Just a duck. Yeah,
okay,
for sure.
wow.
Just a plain mallard duck are my favorite.
Mallard ducks.
I want to own a duck, so if anyone's selling a duck, contact me. I'll buy your duck.
Really?
So my girlfriend and I would love it. It'd be fantastic.
I have a friend who has 2 ducks as a pet.
Let us know. We're looking to house a duck. So
that's very cool.
But, yeah.
I'll put some feelers out for you.
Yeah, see what we got out there.
So being from New York, who do you root for in terms of like pro sports? Football, hockey? Do you have some favorite teams?
Well, this is very soft subject right now. I'm a diehard Bills fan. So I mean, look at all you Chiefs fans out there. We know you're cheating, right? We know that. You can agree to it.
The NFL's rigged. Everybody knows that.
The NFL is rigged. No, that one hurt. We're still mourning, so please give us our space and time. But diehard Bills fan. I have jumped through a couple tables before. I'm okay.
Oh, you're part of the Bills Mafia right here. Bills Mafia right here.
You got one of them. Quiet guy off the ice, but sometimes I get a little wild there. Hockey's weird. So I grew up a Sabres fan, but now I know so many players who play that I grew up training with or whatever that are in the NHL that I'm personally friends with. I'm more a fan of them.
So you're more of a fan of players specifically.
Correct, right? I want my friends to do personally well. So if they're on X team, like yes, I want that team to do well. I think deep down, sure, I'm still a Sabres fan. But
so you pick favorites, like if you have 2 friends that are playing on opposite teams going against each other.
Well,
you flip a coin,
we'll see who can get me the coolest stuff after.
Well, perfect.
Right?
Hey,
you got to go your perks, and then actually my family and myself are diehard Yankees fans. Like ask any of the guys in the room, I'm a diehard Yankees fan. Everybody knows it.
That kind of hurts me a little
bit.
Does
that sting you a little bit?
A little bit. Detroit Tigers, the whole team. So.
I went to a Tigers game last year on my tour of duty here. So that was pretty
cool. Did you enjoy it, I hope?
I did. It was cool. We went opening day, actually.
Oh, that's a good one to go to.
It was really cool. Like that whole little block
as long as
downtown.
It's not freezing cold.
No,
was it the year that was like
No. It was legitimately like 80 degrees last year.
Oh, nice.
It was like almost too hot.
So. Nice.
But it was cool,
It's never too hot.
Still trying to get go to the LCA to see the Wings play, so I'll make sure to do that.
Absolutely, have to get you down.
Yeah, for sure.
Nick, anything else you want to add? Anything you want to say other than check out?
Yeah, check out Higher Hockey. We'd love to work with you guys and stuff, and also just keep coming out and supporting the boys. Friday night was awesome, having that crowd and being able to get a win. And whether you guys believe it or not, the crowd does make a big difference to us. So keep coming out, keep supporting. We'll keep climbing the ladder here to make that playoff push late in the season.
Awesome. Nick, thanks so much. I appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man.
Thank
Good
you,
luck
guys.
the rest of the season.
Thank you.
And we'll send things back over to the broadcast booth powered by KE Electric Supply. Check it out.
Up in front, shut scores! Number 1 now, shut scores! Here we go, snitching, and we got a full line roll. FBHL, full line roll. Hell yeah.
Hey, band members, follow the Motor City Rockers on social media. On Facebook, X, and YouTube at Rockers Hockey. On Instagram and TikTok, find them at Motor City Rockers. For tickets, schedule, and more, visit rockershockey.com. Rock on.
Hi, Avery Smith with Motor City Rockers. My favorite thing about Crunch Fitness is their free weight section. Bench press, dumbbell bench, I'll do rows, about anything you can think of.
I'm Chris Buys. We're currently on the IR. Crunch Fitness, it's got a lot of machines, weights, super beneficial for PT, for my injury right now. They got a nice turf over there too, which is super helpful.
George's here. But one thing I really like about Crunch Fitness is the tanning beds. Rain or snowstorm outside, I don't miss a day in the sun, so I'm always getting my nice bronze color.
106.7 WLLZ. Detroit's Wheels is classic rock that rocks.
Metallica,
Guns N' Roses,
Aerosmith,
AC/DC,
Pearl Jam,
Ozzy.
106.7 WLLZ. Detroit's Wheels.
Hey, this is Josh Cullen from the Motor City Rockers, and you're watching the Rockers Broadcast Network, powered by KE Electric Supply.
Back here on the Rockers Media Network, 1-1 after one. Take a look at the first period recap. Again, not much in the first 20 minutes. Goal in the first 45 seconds and a goal in the final 90 when Reggie Millette, again, sometimes you just tip the cap and say it was a beauty, and his 14th of the year was a gorgeous bar-down backhand. Sometimes it's just a perfect shot. Eli Rivers on the power play. And again, Tristan Wells always befuddles me with his goals. So last game, or it was 2 games ago, the win against Watertown, and I gave credit to, I believe it was Jamison Milam on the shot, and Wells tipped it. That time I thought Wells tipped it. He did not. Rivers, his 23rd of the year, that leads the Motor City Rockers. The Long Drink will present tonight's second period and all second periods here at Big Boy Arena. The second period is known as the period of the long change. Naturally, the perfect drink to go with it, the Long Drink. Sparkling refreshment, real liquor, try one today. Shots in the first period were 15-15, and the general sentiment up here in the booth was, all right, you gave up a goal quick, and the one thing that the Rockers didn't do was fold after one goal. We have seen during their losing streak, sometimes when they give up a goal, it would snowball into 2 or 3. And maybe a month ago, Port Huron jumps on them and it's 3-0 before anyone's got their hot dog and their drink. They battled back, drew a couple penalties. They actually kept their cool when Tucker Scantleberry took an interference call. Him and Hall each picked up a roughing minor and got the goal on the power play. Final few seconds ticking off of the first intermission. Motor City going left to right in their purple sweaters. Port Huron in their road whites going right to left. 1-1 hockey game through 20 minutes. Now the second period brought to you by the Long Drink. And we are tied up, and Port Huron has it off the draw. It was Heinzel. Backhanded to the far corner. Blaisdell off the low glass. Past Simmons Fisher. We do not have icing, waved off. Heinzel chased by Sneeds. He's been flying around in his return. Nice to see 17 with all the speed he had with that lower body injury. It was a scary hit into the boards in mid-January. You wouldn't have even noticed he had time off if you were just rejoining. Gonzalez out of the net to slow the puck down. It was flying on that fresh sheet of ice. Rivers on the backhand returns to Blaisdell, surveys the scene to Rivers, back to Blaisdell. They'll let someone else get in on the action, and that someone's Josh Colton. Just kidding, right back to Doug Blaisdell. He'll take his time. Back to Colton. Pragmatic breakout as Wells chips it ahead, and we have an icing. 59 seconds into the second period, and the draw comes back to the Motor City end. Draw to the left of Rico Gonzalez. Sneath draws against Graham. Excuse me, that's Corrigan. 12, not 17. My apologies to Chris Corrigan. Shot doesn't make it to Gonzalez. Ryder was about to wheel after it, but the other 25, Alex Johnson, had it. Into the Motor City end. Guess who? Doug Blaisdell. He's been a magnet here in the first minute. He chips it ahead. Johnson has it for Port here onto the middle. Lakney. Pressured off the puck. Chris Corrigan. No, he's going to get called for the penalty for a hook. And Corrigan displeased with the call, and Port Huron going on their first power play of the night. Corrigan for a hook at 1:20 into the second period. And the Rockers' penalty kill will be summoned to keep this a tie game. Gullo off the draw. Busso clean win to Scantlebury. Shadowed by Hall. Scantlebury back to the point. Lockhart. The Scantlebury shot is deflected, hit the chest of Gonzalez as Nick Miguel Diaz gets the clear and just wide of the net. Nearly a shot on goal from 170 plus feet. 20 seconds into the Prowler man advantage. Lockhart skates it out of the zone, slides it up for, that was Busso. He's knocked off the puck. Prowlers wanted another penalty call. They won't get it as Busso has words with Gullo, McGill Diaz, and Busso holding on to McGill Diaz. Plays going on. All right, I guess we're going to let everything go. Shot off the high glass. 1:12 left to go in the minor penalty to Chris Corrigan. On the right side, Millette. To the point, Busso. Left wing circle, the captain, Austin Federley. Takes it back to the near point. Slides it down low, Matt Graham. Centering feed, couldn't find Scantlebury, and off the far boards, Rockers get another clear. 48 seconds left to go until the Rockers get back to even strength. Out of his own end, Lakney. Over to Millette. Over the blue line. Turns to the middle. Federley has some space. To Lakney again. Scantlebury. Federley back to Lakney. Shot saved by the shoulder of Gonzalez. Tried to pick the corner, and Gonzalez was able to stonewall him from the near side post. Rockers trying to kill their first penalty of the contest. Puck was just hanging out near the point to Federley. Sends it to the right side, Millette. Shot punched away. 15 seconds left to go in the power play. Federley backhands to the half wall. Lakney, rink wide feed, and it's knocked away. Millette collects it on the bounce. 6 seconds till Corrigan's released from the sin bin. Millette hands it off, and we're back to five-a-side hockey. Still a 1-1 hockey game. 16:36 to go in the middle period. Corrigan fresh out of the box, picks it up. Him and Rivers 2-on-2 with Millette and Federley. Drops it back. Rivers tried to return it. Graham backhands to Lakney. He's all by himself. Rotundi guides into the far side. Oh, Rotundi nearly did the splits trying to get in the way of that puck. Ends up in the corner. One of the newer Rockers, Timur Gavrilovich, was battling. Shot saved by Gonzalez. Quick shot patted away by Rico. The power play in the first period kind of sparked the Motor City offense. Let's see if that has the same effect for Port Huron here in the second period. Motor City trying to shift gears from their own end to get back on the attack and try to take the lead. Here comes Hunter Hall along the left wing boards. Works around one Prowler, can't get by a second. To Cody Oakes. Chips it back. Colton, slap shot goes wide, and we have a high stick, and it'll come out to neutral ice. in front of the Rockers bench. Tie up, Colton slides over, Blaisdell. Tristan Wells couldn't bring in the pass. He's battling with Sim. Tristan on Tristan crime. Tellstrom had his stick lifted and Sim took it away. Over to the near side, Adam Heinzel. Broken up by Ryder, kept it in the zone only to be recollected by Braden Simmons-Fisher. One of the college signings for Port Huron, they have heavily leaned on the big man. Shot, save, rebound went wide in the net. And Port Huron trying to keep the pressure on. Scantlebury sends it in deep. Colton pressured by, that was Luke James. As Blaisdell flips it across, Scantlebury knocks it down, slaps it into the zone. Gonzalez looks it to the stick. Graham comes to pester. Far side. It's sitting right on the half wall. And Blaisdell, the first one there, tape to tape with TJ Sneath. Sneath looking for Tellstrom. They weren't on the same page. Probably weren't even in the same chapter that they were so far off kilter. Right side, bottom of the circle. Wrap around. Simmons-Fisher taking his time. Still has it. A trip around the zone. Shot, rebound, sent to the corner. Millette. Port Huron controlling the pace of play right now. 14-16 to go, second period. 1-1 hockey game here in the Battle of I-94, brought to you by Ciderboys. Graham to Johnson. Brings it to the near hash marks. Leaves it at the point. Return to Johnson. A lot of traffic out in front of the crease. Colton battling for it. Him and Graham take a tumble. Heinzel, Lakney that comes away with it. Back to the point. Shot deflected. It hit Gonzalez and it ended up all the way back top of the right wing circle. Second shot kicked away by Gonzalez. Out to neutral ice, and the Rockers will get a short reprieve as Colton brings it in, and some fresh legs out there in the purple and black, much needed. Timofeyev pokes it into the zone. Excuse me, that was Kapatayev pokes it into the zone. Hall, Freudian slip there. A different Russian that used to play in the Fed. That went deep into the recesses of my mind. I haven't called that name in years. My apologies to Igor Kapatayev. At the Port Huron blue line, Lockhart. Feed off the mark, looking for Tellstrom. Everyone overskates. Hall tried to slap at it. Oates can't keep it in. And back between the blue lines. All the way to the right side, Federley overskated. Here comes Hall to Oates, one touch, McGill Diaz. The D-man tried to keep it in deep, and instead, Port Huron on the attack. Right side, Busso, shot, save, rebound, knocked to the corner by Mac Diver. We've gone a while without a whistle, 12:32 to go in the second period. We've got a 1-1 hockey game. Port Huron out shooting Motor City 7-0 here in the second period. Play stays in the Motor City end. One-timer save. Rebound in the slot. Collecting it, Kapatayev. He'll spin back into his own end. Didn't like the look he had for the rush. McGill Diaz into the zone only for a moment. Rebound, pinballs to the near side. Diver knocks it up ahead. Pin to the boards. It slides back into the Motor City end. Nick McGill Diaz. He just dumps it down the length of the ice. We'll get an icing. And with 11:43 to go in the second period, we are well overdue for a whistle and our media timeout. Port Huron controlling play here in the second period. Still 1-1 here on the Rockers Media Network.
Up in front, shot, scores! Number line now, shot, scores! Here we go, Snitson, we got a full line roll! FPHL, full line roll! Hell yeah!
Hey, this is TJ Sneath from the Motor City Rockers, and you're watching the Rockers Broadcast Network, powered by KE Electric Supply.
1-1, 11:49 to go in the second period. The story of this game has been the power play. Even though only one goal, that was Motor City's goal at the end of the first period, has but scored on the power play. For Motor City in the first period and Port Huron here in the second, it was the man advantage that kind of ignited the offensive rhythm for both sides, as Motor City has not been able to shift out of a defensive mindset, and a lot of that reason is because Port Huron's been playing pretty well and pestering them. Shots here in the second period are heavily tilted towards Port Huron. In fact, they're 8-0 Port Huron. They were 15-15 dead even in the opening stanza. And stats all season long brought to you by PSN Technologies. Off the draw. That's step number one to controlling play, is win the draw, but turning it over, not there, and Lakney scores. He ended up with it in the slot, and Gonzalez is not happy, but it's 2-1 Port Huron. So that much pressure from Port Huron, eventually you knew the dam was in danger of breaking, and it's 2-1 Port Huron. Motor City's looking for their first shot of the second period. Gullo back in his own end to Rotundi. In the middle of the ice, Sneath fought the puck a bit, and it's back on a Port Huron stick. Gonzalez asked for an icing, he's denied. Sneath along the far side. He'll send in deep, just wide to Reed Cooper. He has been a bored man so far this second period. Hasn't had to make a save yet. Chipped ahead, Bussell picks it up. Over to the right side, Federley returns Johnson back to Federley. Shot goes wide of the net. Gonzalez able to corral the puck and hold on to it. 10:55 to go second period, 2-1 Port Huron. Head coach Jamison Milam not dressed tonight. He is taking a day off. He's just needed an extra day to try to, recalibrate and get ready for the home stretch. He is behind the bench, still serving as head coach, just not on the ice tonight. Millette back. Oh no, that went into the glove of Trevor Babin. They were trying to find Matt Graham behind Gonzalez. He covers up in another draw in the Motor City end. Another clean win for Port Huron on the dot. Shot deflected, went up and over Gonzalez into the protective netting, and another draw in the Rockers zone. One of the reasons why Port Huron has been so successful and so persistent here in the second period, they've controlled it off the draw more often than not. Graham against Kabatayev. That one a tie-up. Colton had it. He's being chased after near side. Too strong for Oaks, and that's the other reason. As soon as Motor City has it, passes have not been crisp this period. As soon as someone in a purple sweater has it, it only seems to last for a moment. Gonzalez pins it to the net, and we have a downed Port Huron Prowler. Let's see if we can take another look. Reggie Millette went down. There's no call, and this is a situation where, for me, it's either it's a penalty on someone. So let's see, it'd be on the right side of your screen, 38. And there was a little bit of contact. So either, for me, again, it's either a penalty on Hunter Hall or it's embellishment. You don't hit the ice that hard unless you're penalized or you're embellishing. And sometimes they'll call both, which again doesn't make sense. But if you're gonna hit the ice that hard, either someone did something illegal, a high stick, a slash, or you were trying to draw a call, and that's why the embellishment penalty's there. Play will go on. and I digress. Cooper out of his own net. Slides it along the boards. Corrigan comes down. Hop into the point. Diagonal dump in. Tellstrom over the right side. Corrigan shot saved by Cooper. And a hit by Simmons Fisher after the play. Wells pushing and shoving. And again, it's always testy between these two. A heck of a save by Reed Cooper to keep it a 2-1 Prowler lead. .10:08 to go, second period, 2-1. Port Huron on top of Motor City thanks to the Luke Lakey goal. Corrigan on the draw, he'll face Jamie Bussel. Tie up off the draw, back to the point. Blaisdell kept it in, pitchforks it deeper into the zone. Matthias Tellstrom battling with Johnson. Squirts out Tellstrom, and he turns it over. Wells got a stick on it to keep it in the zone. Tellstrom to the far side, the power forward in deep Corrigan. He's tied up to the near sideboard. Scantleberry shadows back to the point. Colton way wide of the net. Wells backhands to Tellstrom. Wells takes a hit, and then that's Tellstrom that goes down. Johnson nearly overskated to the far side. Blaisdell pinches down off the end boards, and a lot of bodies hitting the ice. Lead feed looking for Bussel off the mark. He's the first one there. Gonzalez nearly turned it over, but Blaisdell there to aid his defenseman. Millette, far side Corrigan. Not much contact. Shot blocked by Wells. Tristan Wells off the low glass, and then it will hop into the Port Huron zone. 9:06 to go, second period, 2-1. Port Huron on top of Motor City here in the Battle of I-94, brought to you by the Ciderboys. Heinzel to the near side. Graham along the near side boards. Millette shepherds it into the zone over the blue line. Hops back. Graham shot into the belly of Gonzalez. He swallows it. And some words between a couple Prowlers and Rockers. Nothing more than that. 8:49 to go here in the second period. Prowlers lead it by a goal. You're watching the Rockers Media Network.
Hey, band members. Follow the Motor City Rockers on social media. On Facebook, X, and YouTube at Rockers Hockey. On Instagram and TikTok, find them at Motor City Rockers. For tickets, schedule, and more, visit rockershockey.com. Rock on.
2-1, Port Huron here, leads here in Fraser. Let's go look around the Fed. Binghamton has tied it up against Danbury. That's a 3-3 deadlock. Blue Ridge with a 2-1 advantage over the Hockey Club Benham. We'll see them in a week's time. Carolina 5, Watertown 1. Monroe 2, the River Dragons 1. Mississippi 2, the Dasher Hockey Club. Yeah, they're getting shut out. And Athens 2, Baton Rouge with just a single goal. 2-1 here at Big Boy Arena here in the second period, brought to you by the Long Drink. Rockers have settled the game down a bit since that last goal. First 9 shots of the period went to Port Huron. It's been one aside since, but there's been more time on the Prowlers end of the ice than the Motor City end. That last goal officially, Lucas Lakey from Reggie Millette and Ludwig Thelstrom. Millette has played a part in both Port Huron goals, and I'm telling you what, you notice him all over the ice. Tie up off the draw. Johnson back behind McGill Diaz on the backhand, and there's Millette to pester him. To the near side boards, can't get it out of the zone. Sneath does. Lead feed ends up with Rivers in the low slot, and it's poked away from behind. Rivers can't even get the shot on goal. Gullos rubbed off the puck by Graham. To the far side, McGill Diaz comes down, and Millette, unbothered, keeps it on the tape of the stick. Up ahead for Thelstrom. On the near side, Johnson into the zone, gets by Diver, but ahead to McGill Diaz. Far corner. Gets by 2. Prowlers can't get by the 3rd. Back to the stick of Diver. Ahead, Gullo. Sneath into the offensive zone. Ahead, McGill Diaz looked for a feed to Rivers. He was about 2 steps behind. Gavrilovic at the blue line. Slashes at it, delayed offside. So Gavrilovic picks it up without anyone bothering him. Rivers can't get by Lockhart. 7:45 to go, second period. 2-1. Port Huron has found the difference maker here in the middle frame. Oaks along the near side boards. Shot into the stomach of Reed Cooper. He swallows it up, holds onto it for the whistle. We'll get a draw on the Port Huron end. Kabatayev, Oaks, Hall, Rotundi alongside Gavrilovic out there for the purple and black. Clean win for Port Huron and Tristan Sim off the draw. On the far half wall, pressure from Gavrilovic, kept in. Hops off the end boards, Hall comes. Simmons Fisher uses that big frame to box him out, back to Sim. Kabatayev tries to use his speed on the forecheck. Puck goes down the ice, Gavrilovic corrals it cleanly. Head to the near side. Gavrilovic to Busso. Excuse me, that was, Busso tried to get in the way of it. Hall gets it back for the Rockers. Rotundi, Gavrilovic to Rotundi. 2-line pass on net, so Rotundi is shot from about 150 feet, and Cooper will hang on to the puck, and some extra pushing and shoving. Kabatayev down there. Who else is involved? Scantlebury actually playing peacekeeper for once. Let's see who comes out for Port Huron. That was Heinzel. Take a very quick look at this. Just after the play, a couple extra shoves. Officials have been fairly liberal with letting play go on. They haven't called but a single pair of penalties after the whistle. 6:51 to go, second period, 2-1 Port Huron. Here in a Friday night at Big Boy Arena. These two teams will rematch tomorrow at McMorran Arena. Corrigan puts it off the end boards. Heinzel whiffed on it. Wells battling for it. Squirts out to Brad Ryder. Blaisdell from the point, and it's off the skate of Corrigan. If that goes over instead of up, that might be in the back of the net. Instead, play goes on, and Port Huron still has a 2-1 lead. Federley knocked it over all 3 lines. Blaisdell picks it up in his own end. Finds Josh Colton, the LA native. Look to return to Blaisdell. Gets it into the zone. His collides with Simmons Fisher. Shot missed wide, hit off the end boards. Off the glass and near center ice. Wells batted at it. Scantlebury picks it up, trying to work around Colton. Guided into the corner. Feed to the slot, and it's Tristan Wells for Motor City. Ahead to Ryder. He's outnumbered 1-on-3 to Blaisdell. Looked for Colton, and the pass was a bit too tall. 5:49 to go, second period. Right now, Lucas Lakney, the difference. Scantlebury, shot, saved by Gonzalez. Got as wide as he could, and it was wide enough. Graham to the point, to the near side. Scantlebury back behind the net. The pressure persists. Graham had his pocket picked. Blaisdell, he's had a lot of time on the ice tonight. He has been a guy that the Rockers and Jamison Milam have heavily relied on in their own end, and it's not hard to see why. Millette, shot, deflected wide. Blaisdell looks like he could use a break as the puck slides to the far side. Colton comes up, leaves it for Matt Graham. Sneath looks for Rivers, and it's kept in by Lockhart. Back to Rivers, slides it to Gullo. Over center ice, and Gullo puts it in deep. Rockers get some fresh legs out there. 4:49 to go, second period. Prowlers with the only goal in the middle period. That's the difference, 2-1 Port Huron. Kabatayev, near side, works ahead. Up for Hunter Hall, he wheels, picks it up on the half wall. makes a move. Hall to the middle. Miguel Diaz couldn't kick it to the tape. He's rubbed off the puck, and a delayed call coming against Motor City. Shot saved by Gonzalez, but they let a lot go. Apparently a bridge too far on the breakout for Port Huron, and when we come back, the Prowlers will be back on the power play. 4:20 to go, second period, 2-1 Port Huron. You're watching the Rockers Media Network.
Hi, Avery Smith with Motor City Rockers. My favorite thing about Crunch Fitness is the free weight section. Bench press, dumbbell bench, I'll do rows, about anything you can think of.
I'm Chris Buys. We're currently on the IR. Crunch Fitness, it's got a lot of machines, weights, super beneficial for PT, for my injury right now. They got a nice turf over there too, which is super helpful.
George's here. One thing I really like about Crunch Fitness is the tanning beds. Rain or snowstorm outside, I don't miss a day in the sun, so I'm always painting my nice bronze color.
106.7 WLLZ. Detroit's Wheels is classic rock that rocks.
Metallica,
Guns N' Roses,
Aerosmith,
AC/DC,
Pearl Jam,
Ozzy.
106.7 WLLZ, Detroit's Wheels.
Still have a lot of promotions here. The rest of the regular season, just 5 more home games the rest of the year. 3 next weekend, then 1 against Port Huron the following week, and finally a fan appreciation night on the 12th. 2 minutes for slashing against Nick Miguel Diaz. That's the one thing they really haven't let go, and you know what? You looked at it, back at it, yeah, probably earned that 2 minutes. .420 left to go in the second. If the Rockers have it their way, 2 minutes of it will be spent down a man. Port Huron tried to extend the lead before the third period. Lakey, he had goal number 2, shot deflected, and it's sent to safety. TJ Sneath, again in his first game back since he was put on IR in the middle of January, he hasn't missed a step. A very welcome addition back to the lineup. Federley skates it into the zone to the near side, back to the point. Federley, left side Lakey, and a swing and a miss on the one-time attempt. Johnson couldn't find it. 35 seconds into the Miguel Diaz slashing minor. Lakey, pass broken up. Guess who? TJ Sneath got his stick in there. Picked back up by Johnson to Millette. On the far side to the point. Austin Federley, left wing, Lakey back to Federley. Millette on the circle, brings it back to the top of the circle. Take the tape pass, Lakey to the point. Federley, shot, deflected, still in there on the doorstep. Wraparound broken up, and they score on the third attempt. It's Alex Johnson, and it's 3-1 Port Huron. They stopped attempts 1 and 2, but Alex Johnson was there ready to knock home the third try, and Port Huron has scored 2 straight. First one on the power play tonight for Port Huron. And they have both goals here in the middle frame, as Motor City will be chasing. Try to get one back before the intermission. 3:11 left to go in the middle period. Colton sent it to the blue line, but it's immediately collected by James to the near side. Heindel, shot saved, hops to the far corner. Ryder got in the way, chips it back. Simmons Fisher wheeling, Ryder, and it's knocked to the far side. Wasn't much, but Vinny DeCumbis was able to just get a snuff of the stick on it to break up the attempt from Ryder. Marty can't work around Wells. Wells absorbed a hit for a moment, then tumbled to the ice. Play right back in the Motor City end. DeCumbis to James. Ryder, he wasn't sure where the puck was, otherwise I think he would have picked that off. Simmons Fisher along the near side. Knocked away. Ryder trying to get there again, but a couple steps ahead of him, Jamie Bussel. Bussel lost it. Corrigan ahead to Oaks. He gets a piece of it. Rockers go off for a change. Kabatayev on the forecheck. Can't keep it into neutral ice. Federley. Lost it. Stick handled himself into submission. Kabataya banks ahead, but right to the stick of Brett Lockhart. Under 2 minutes to go, second period, 3-1 Port Huron. Hall slides it in, but again, right to a Prowler stick. No sustained pressure in a while for Motor City. Port Huron has definitely outplayed the Rockers here in the second period. First period was rather even as an icing call with 100 seconds left to go in the middle frame. We'll send it back down to the Prowlers' end. TJ Sneath on the draw. If the Rockers can get one back before the end of the second, steal a little momentum. Rivers, wrap around, Sneath couldn't get all of it, and Cooper on top of it. Man, in the blink of an eye, a great chance. TJ Sneath not happy with himself. He knew he let one slip away. A nice feed by Rivers. Sneath doesn't even need to get all of it. If he gets half of it, that might find some twine in the back of the net. Instead, it's still 3-1 Port Huron. Sneath, Gullo, Rivers, Diver, and McGill Diaz out there for Port Huron. It's Millette, Lakeney, Graham, Johnson, and Felstrom. Off the draw to the backboards. Felstrom slides ahead. Graham fought the puck a bit. Banks ahead to Millette. Prowlers on the attack. Johnson. Back to the near side. Millette overskated, recollects. At the point. Works around Rivers. Shot high and wide. Felstrom on his horse to keep it in the zone. He does. An easily saved shot by Rico Gonzalez. We're down to 67 seconds to go in the second period as we get an icing call and a draw in the Motor City end. Well, it's no reason, or it's no surprise why Port Huron has taken a 1-1 game and put it at 3-1, outshooting the Rockers 15-4 here in the second period. Offense has been absent for the Rockers here in the middle frame. 1:05 to try to rectify it. Shot down the ice, misses. Rivers racing, and Johnson will be a step quicker. And we'll get another draw in the Motor City end. Eli Rivers has speed, just didn't have quite enough to overtake Johnson. Minute on the dot left to go in the second period. Off the draw, clean win, Port Huron. Simmons Fisher, shot, missed wide. Diver pushes it ahead to Rivers. Rockers on the attack, backhand to the tape of McGill. Diaz, Gullo, just a bit too anxious. And right now, anytime the Rockers have felt like they've had a little momentum, a small slip up will stymie it. Offsides call brought to you all season long by Great Clips. Fans, if your sides are a little off, remember Great Clips will keep your hair on sides. You can find them in Roseville, Warren, or the Meijer across from Big Boy Arena. Great Clips, the official hair cutter of your Motor City Rockers. 48 seconds left to go in the second period. 3-1 Port Huron. D-to-D pass, Heinzel. Ends up with the Cumbus. Left side circle. Goes to the far corner. Puck hopping around. Gavrilovich pinning to the boards. Over to the half wall. 28 seconds left to go in the period. Near side, shot, kicked aside, rebound, and in a dangerous area, a couple shots, and that one goes into the corner. Oh boy. Port Huron almost with a big-time goal to extend the lead to 3 right before the second intermission. 10 seconds left to go in the period. And Port Huron maybe with one last shot. Marty gets it on net. It's knocked up into the netting with 2.2 left to go in the second period. Looks like we're going to the third period with a 2-goal Prowler advantage. And they will pull Reed Cooper. I actually like this move because there's no way Motor City is getting it down the ice on net in 2.2. It would have to be one of the best plays you can draw, and to get you an extra guy on the ice, I don't mind that. So empty net for the final 2.2. Waiting for the draw. Waiting for everyone to settle down in front of Gonzalez. And off the draw, it's put down the ice, but again, nowhere near enough time. And we head to the second intermission. 3-1 Port Huron. We'll recap the period and more when we come back. You're watching the Rockers Media Network.
Hey, band members, follow the Motor City Rockers on social media. On Facebook, X, and YouTube at Rockers Hockey. On Instagram and TikTok, find them at Motor City Rockers. For tickets, schedule, and more, visit rockershockey.com. Rock on!
106.7 WLLZ. Detroit's Wheels is classic rock that rocks.
Metallica,
Guns N' Roses,
Aerosmith,
AC/DC,
Pearl Jam,
Ozzy.
106.7 WLLZ. Detroit's Wheels.
Second intermission, and the Prowlers took a 1-1 game and made it 3-1 in that second period. Millette and Rivers scored in the first period for their respective side. Lucas Lakney from Millette and Dahlstrom. And then on the power play, Alex Johnson, Lakney, and Matt Graham get the apples on that second goal of the second period to put us where we're at right now. 3-1 Port Huron after 2 periods of play. Motor City looking for a comeback win. They played well in the first. They did not play well in the second. They're going to have to play more like they did in the first and the second if they want a chance. In this one, they were outshot 18-4 in period number 2. If you missed the interview in the first intermission, I sat down with Rockers General Manager Nick Field. Talked about the trades he's made over the past week at the deadline, dealing both Avery Smith and Trevor Babin, the thought process through that. So if you missed it in the first period, we're going to show you again here in the second intermission, just to give you a little insight to the Rockers' thinking. All right, we'll step aside. You'll hear my interview with Nick Field when we come back here on the Rockers Media Network.
Welcome back to the Rockers Media Network. I'm Brady Beaton, and we're sitting down with a Rockers general manager, Nick Field, post-trade deadline coming down the home stretch. Nick, very busy man on Monday. Made some pretty bold moves. Trevor Babin and Avery Smith both get traded to Columbus and Athens, respectively. I guess before we even talk about the return, let's go through the thought process and where you were and where you think the Rockers are as you approach the trade deadline and those decisions.
So a lot goes into it, of course. You know, we've been here with the new ownership and myself back in this role for about 6 weeks, I think. And obviously the roster is quite a bit different than when we started. The goal was always to come in here slowly but surely, make solid additions that are going to make our team have more depth and be able to be more competitive on the ice. And also part of the big thing with what I like to do is bring guys in that are good fits in the locker room too. Like, culture's a big thing for us. We want guys that want to be here, that work hard first and foremost, and can be good teammates and good role models and good hockey players. So I think we're on the right track. The games over the past few weeks, we had a pretty tough run there with 5 games in a row versus the top 3 teams in the league between, you know, with Binghamton, Columbus, and then Athens. And I think if you go back and look, we've been playing much better hockey than we were 6 to 8 weeks ago. You know, a lot more responsible. We're not giving up, you know, tons of quality chances on a night in, night out basis. Our goals against have been lower. At the same time, you know, we're starting to produce more offense too. So I think the changes that we made have been successful as far as getting the team back to where a competitive level where we want to be. And I think you saw that last weekend. The Athens game, you know, the final score is 4-1. That included an empty net goal, a power play goal, and a shorthanded goal. We only gave up 1 goal, 5-on-5. And then Saturday night against Watertown, we found a way to win that game 3-2 in overtime. And I think we outshot them like 55 to 31. So that was not happening earlier this season. And, you know, it's starting to get to the point where we can start to do that. So that's kind of where we were heading into the weekend with the trade deadline. And, we have made a handful of moves leading up to that. And I told the team the week before that, look, I'm not actively trying to shop anybody, but if we get some offers and it's just something that it would be irresponsible to take, then we're going to make moves because we got to build this team and build the foundation back up to put us in a good position for the future. So that's kind of how that went down.
So when you trade guys like Babbitt and Smith, obviously you're thinking the hockey side, but is there any part of you that goes, man, these are fan favorites, that this is going to be a little tougher to sell than maybe shipping out 2 other guys, because there is the other side of it that those are 2 guys that were pretty well beloved by the fans. Did that come into the thought process at all during the negotiations?
Yeah, of course it does. And, let's talk about Babin specifically here. So he had been here since day one.
Yeah.
I think he was our first pick in the expansion draft. Okay. And Trevor and I have a great relationship. I respect the heck out of him as a person and a player. That move was for him. He had a really tough year this year. He had a significant injury where he was out 6 to 8 weeks, I believe. He came back. He's been trying to find his game. And to be quite honest with you, he didn't have a great team defensively playing in front of him. So he's had a real tough go. So I thought it was a great opportunity for him to be able to go to a good organization, get a mental reset, and be able for him to go back and find his game and get him back on track. And then obviously the other side of that is now that we have Rico, and he is developed into a legitimate #1 goaltender as well. So I felt comfortable for Babs to give him that opportunity. At the same time, it's tough losing a guy like that, but at the end of the day, it's more about giving him an opportunity to help himself. Knowing that we have Rico here with us.
Yeah.
So that was a catch-22. It's tough to see him leave. And he'll be back around, I think, in the summertime. Like, he's still going to do his training and stuff like that. So, and I told him, hey, this isn't goodbye forever. It's goodbye for now. And he felt a lot more comfortable with it after we had a good conversation. So best of luck to him. And then Avery, that was Athens really wanted him. I actually had calls on Avery for about 3 weeks from multiple teams. Nothing really came through as far as something that I felt made sense for us.
Right.
Until this Athens deal came through. And, I can't get into all the details right now, but, from a player standpoint, we're getting plenty in return. We had a couple guys up front, one of which is here with us now. The other one should be joining us next week. And then we have a few more players coming to us after the season's over. And then another couple guys at training camp. So the reality is for us to not take that offer, it would be irresponsible. And again, Avery, great guy. I love him. I know the fans loved him. He brings that element, to the team, and that's what they wanted him down there to do as well. And again, in the stage that we're in, I felt like we had to take the opportunity to try and get some good players to help us rebuild. So that's where that came from.
Let's talk about a little bit about the guys you got back. Timur Gavrilovic, a big body, listed at 6'6". He's one of the guys that you noticed on the ice pretty quickly when Athens was here, even for one game. Brennan Ronan, the other one that will be here at a later time. But what about those guys did you see? Did it help seeing them in person last Friday, so you got to kind of have an idea of what it was like with your own 2 eyes, what you knew what you were getting back in return?
Yeah, so we were looking to secure our defensive core. At the time last week, we have 6 defensemen. We'd like to have 7 quality defensemen. So that, definitely helped solve a problem right off the hop. Like you mentioned, big body, big steady, reliable defensive defenseman.
Right.
Physical, big physical defenseman. So that instantly solved the problem that we had there. And then with the forward, again, a great college career, high tempo, fast skater. That's what we want. We want to be a fast team. We want to be 200 feet. The pace of the game nowadays, especially against some of these better teams, we have the players that can play at that pace now, whereas, 6 to 8 weeks ago we didn't, right? So again, just another good skater, good offensive addition that, we can add to our group. And like Coach Milam was saying earlier, it's okay if guys are uncomfortable in the locker room. You shouldn't be comfortable to the point where you don't feel like anybody could ever take your job. Right. And if you're going to have a good team, you're going to have a bunch of guys that can play, and that's, where we're at. And we're going to finish the season strong, I think.
One other move, not one that you may have had much of a hand in, but TJ Sneath gets healthy. That's basically a free addition at the deadline. How much does he help? Because he was a guy last year that stepped into a big role, and he was one of the leading guys before he went down this past year. How much does it help getting a guy like him back in the lineup?
Immensely. I mean, you take one of your top forwards and leaders, that you have that's been out for roughly 8 weeks, I believe, maybe a little longer, and you put him back in. I mean, what else would you want? We just traded for an all-star type player, basically by him coming off the IR.
Right.
So again, that adds more depth to our group. And like Coach Milam was talking about earlier, like when you're looking at the roster now, he has a hard time figuring out, hey, who am I going to sit out? What are my lines going to be? And that's what you want. So, we're in a good spot. Like I said, with some of the additions we've made recently, in addition to the trade deadline guys, the guys that come in earlier, like the Writers and the Corrigans. Mac Diver has been a great addition on the D-Corps as well, coming out of college. So we're in a much better spot than we were when we got here, and that's what we're striving to do, and we're looking to finish strong here. What do we have, 12 or 14 games left?
I think this is game 45 tonight right now, so... Yeah, 11 games after, 10 games after tonight.
Okay, so 12. Okay, so 12 total. Okay, so yeah, we're in a good spot, and there's no reason why we can't finish strong and roll into the playoffs here.
All right, well, I guess that kind of wraps up, because I was going to ask, what are you looking for the rest of the way? Because as far as player acquisition, maybe a college guy here or there, but the roster's basically set for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and Brady, you've been around for the first 2 years, so we don't like to have a lot of transactions, right? So if you noticed and paid attention the first 2 years, we had a pretty solid team. So there's not a lot of reason to have to make a lot of transactions. Usually on teams where you see them making a lot of transactions is because they're not doing very well.
Right.
So we have a good core group here. Like we have a deep group. I like the guys in the room. The only reason we'll be making any moves at this point is if we have to move a guy off for roster space for one reason or another, or if it's a college guy. So we're comfortable with what we have. I like the group. I like the culture in the room. The biggest thing I like about this group is they compete for 3 periods. They play hard for 3 full periods, and that's the first thing any team needs to do to give themselves a chance. And I think that's a big reason why you've seen a progression in the quality of play over the last 3 to 4 weeks.
Well, Nick, I appreciate it. Thanks for taking some time, and hopefully we're talking about a really fun run here in the next 3-4 weeks or so.
Well, I appreciate it. Thanks, Brady.
No problem. He's Nick Field. I'm Brady Beaton, and you're watching the Rockers Media Network.
Hey, fan members, follow the Motor City Rockers on social media. On Facebook, X, and YouTube at Rockers Hockey. On Instagram and TikTok, find them at Motor City Rockers. For tickets, schedule, and more, visit rockershockey.com. Rock on!
Hey, what's up, everybody? It's James Campbell, your Motor City Rockers in-arena host, back again with another episode of 5 Minutes in the Box. This time I'm joined by Tristan Wells. Tristan, how's it going?
Good, and you?
Not too bad, man. Can't complain. Now, I know back when they announced you were coming back to the team, again, social media blew up. The fans are excited to know that you're back on the team. Give us a little bit of history, because I know you were on the Rockers last season. Like, what's kind of your hockey journey been?
Oh yeah, I started with the Rockers around last Thanksgiving, and I got the pleasure to play with them for the rest of the last season. And then I started this year in Macon in the SPHL, and when things didn't work out there, I was pretty excited to get back there to Motor City and get back home with all the boys.
Awesome, man. Well, we're happy to see you back, and the fans are happy to see you back. What's some stuff that you do outside of playing hockey, like hobbies and things like that?
Recently, me and the guys have been going to the sauna at the gym a lot. Yeah, a lot of sauna time. Hop in there for about 20-30 and then jump in the cold shower afterwards. That's been pretty sweet. Now, besides that, we've been just watching hockey and hanging out kind of in the evenings.
Hanging out?
Yeah.
So the sauna thing, like what do you enjoy? Is that like good recovery from practice, or is it just a good way to relax?
I'm not really sure what the science is behind it, but it's just a good way to get a sweat going, get everything out of you, and I don't know, just hopping in the cold shower afterwards, super refreshing. I couldn't tell you what it does, but it does something for you.
I know you're from Denver originally, correct? Yep. Okay. So from Denver to you're down in Macon, that's Georgia. Now you're in the Motor City area.
Yeah.
Do you have a favorite place? Like, do you prefer always to be home, or do you mind being away?
Yeah, I'm pretty lucky. I get to come home in the summer and be with my family and friends. So I definitely love Denver. And that's probably where I call home. But, Detroit's kind of become a second home to me. I certainly like it here. It's a nice, gritty winter.
Yeah, it is. It is a very gritty winter. So, dude, first game back on the Rockers. You started things off with the bang. Hat trick on the first game back. How does that feel, man?
That was pretty sweet. It felt great. Yeah.
Very cool. You spend a lot of time watching hockey. So are you watching like NHL, like rooting for a team, or are you watching like game tape to try to see how you can be better as a player? Like what kind of stuff are you watching in terms of hockey?
Like I think a lot of the guys on the team will watch their own individual game back. That's kind of something you do as an individual. But, you know, sometimes we'll sit down as a team and watch that, and we'll do video as well as a team. It's kind of break down concepts that we need to master, as well as kind of the strategies that the other team may be having in place.
I got you.
And aside from that, like we just watch, you know, hockey or football or whatever back home, just like anyone else, just enjoy
Who do you root for football wise?
No, I love the Broncos. They're hot this season. Yeah,
Okay.
but you know, I also can't go against the Lions.
Yeah, well, not in this town.
No.
That would be a big mistake in this town to go against the Lions.
Nope, I'm a Lions stan here. I just pretend so I can fit in with the rest of the guys.
Little closeted Broncos action.
Yeah. Don't tell anyone.
Yeah. What about hockey? Like, who do you root for in terms of hockey?
I love the Avs.
The Avalanche. Oh
Yeah.
man, like that's rough.
Yeah,
That's a rough one, but I get it.
Yeah.
You know, it's a hometown, so it makes
Yeah,
complete
we've been
sense.
pretty hot recently. We do all right.
Yeah. I think you might be doing a little bit better than the team we might be rooting for, but
Your boys aren't too bad either.
yeah, they're doing okay. So last year on the team with the Rockers, you were teammates, you know, with J-Mo Milan. How's it feel now that he's coach?
Fitting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it feels really fitting. I think a lot of guys look to him to set certain standards and kind of give guys advice on how to play things and how to act in certain situations. And he's just got so much experience and is such a veteran guy that, you know, you can take pretty much anything he's got to say as word. That's how it's done.
It's awesome. That's very cool. Yeah, I think when they announced also, you know, when J-Mo was taking over as the head coach, like fans online rejoiced. It's very positive feedback on that. So
the right guy for the job.
Absolutely. Is there anything else you want to say? You want to add?
No. Happy to be back here.
Okay.
Glad to be back with all the Rockers fans. Excited to get back for a home game.
Awesome, man. Well, hey, good luck this weekend.
Nice,
We
thank
appreciate
you.
you taking the time.
Of course. Thank you.
Hey, this is Sam Gagnon from the Motor City Rockers, and you're watching the Rockers Broadcast Network, powered by KE Electric Supply. Go Rockers!
Back here on the Rockers Media Network, 3-1. Port Huron leads Motor City. Again, let's take just a quick look at what happened in that opening two periods. It was Millette and Rivers in the first, but then Lickney and Johnson each netted a goal in that second period. It was the 14th and 17th, respectively, in that middle frame. We get ready for the third period, brought to you by RJ's Construction Services. Head to RJ's Construction Services on Facebook or call 248-974-2640 for all things construction services. RJ's Construction Services, a proud partner of the Motor City Rockers. And it's 3-1 Port Huron, and it was the tale of two periods. You know, in the first period, Port Huron played well at times. They controlled the play, but Motor City really had some nice moments. They just didn't convert on all their chances. Shots were about even. The second period, frankly, folks, it was all Port Huron. Shots were 18-4, and that right there is the difference between teams vying for home ice advantage, vying for bigger spots in the playoffs, where Motor City, they're trying to just find a way in. It's consistency. Outside of maybe 2 or 3 teams in the league, everyone has talented players. There's a lot of top-line guys that would contribute on a lot of teams. The Rockers are no exception. The only difference is right now Motor City, and really all season long, has been inconsistent. Again, a very nice first period. Everyone in the press box was feeling good after 1. After 2, they put themselves in a hole. And give Port Huron credit. They took advantage of it to the tune of 2 goals. And that's why it's been tough at times, because you know the Rockers have it in them. It's just getting it out of them a little more. But still 20 minutes to right the wrongs of the second period. 3-1 Port Huron. As Sneath, Gullo, Rivers, Colt, and I believe it will be, let's see. Yes, Miguel Diaz is out there. But it has been Blaisdell as the partner. And yes, Blaisdell will be the final Rocker out there. Federley, Bussel, Scantleberry, Simmons, Fisher, and Heinzel for Port Huron. Start of the third, Rockers need 2. Can't score 2 at once, got to start with 1. Port Huron starts with a draw at center ice. They win cleanly. Simmons, Fisher to Heinzel. And it's backhanded to Federley, him and Bussel. 2-man game, one-timer, and he only got a piece of it. Rockers trying to work the other way. Scantlebury took it away from Sneath. Left wing circle, Scantlebury centering feed. Shot, rebound, went by Federley. He was on the doorstep at a dangerous spot. And Port Huron picking up where they left off in the second period. Bank ahead to Sneath. He has some room. He'll skate to center ice, dump it in diagonally. Hits up the corner, and the Rockers go for a change. Simmons Fisher to Scantlebury. Over the red line, guides it over the blue. Shot high and wide, went past the glove of Gonzalez. Second shot, that one on target, and that was Rico Gonzalez that was able to get his body in front of it. 51 seconds into the third, it's still 3-1 Port Huron. Draw to the left of Gonzalez. Matt Graham take a draw against Brad Ryder. Ryder, Diver, Wells, McGill Diaz, and Telstrom out there. Gonzalez pokes it into the corner. Slides back, Gonzalez plays it, tries to bank it. Mollett gets in front to the point. Johnson kicked it too hard, couldn't settle it down with the stick. Back around the boards, Diver lost the stick and a one-timer, and the Rockers are now down 4-1 thanks to Matt Graham. Matt Diver losing the twig was the impetus of that goal. He didn't have anything to knock that down, and Matt Graham, sitting right outside the crease, was just able to tap that in. 4-1 Port Huron. Three straight Port Huron goals, and now the hill to climb much larger for Motor City as Port Huron picked up right where they left off at the end of the second period. Someone needs to be a spark for this Rocker team. Hall at his own blue line, works around James, feeds to Kabatayev, quickly knocked into the far boards. Lockhart at the blue line. Gavrilovich puts it along the boards. Kabatayev couldn't knock it in. Oates steals the pass, dumps it in, and Cooper leaves it back. Quick feed to the near side. Lockhart. Rink wide feed off the mark. Hall took it away. Oh man, he could not find that puck. It was sitting right between the legs. Rockers go off for a change. A disappointed set of purple sweaters go to the bench. Not happy with the shift. Gullo at neutral ice, can't handle it. Goes to Josh Colton. 2 minutes into the third period, the Prowlers have extended the lead to 4-1. Blaisdell into the offensive zone. Shot snagged by Cooper. Reed Cooper's made some big saves tonight. After the first period, he wasn't asked to make too many, but when he has been, he's looked pretty good. And sometimes that can be tough to do when you're not getting consistent shots. Cooper's been locked in all night. Draw on the near dot. Sneath the face-off against Bussel. Tie up, Federley backhands it to Simmons Fisher. Along the far side, Colton flips it near the net. Sneath couldn't get a piece of it, and it hopped wide into the corner. Gullo takes it away, slides it, kicked away. Rivers leaves it back, Sneath backhand. Gullo back behind the net. Sitting in the low slot, Rivers recollects to Gullo, back to Rivers. Shot, saved by Cooper. And Heinzel with a little extracurricular for Sneath. So the Rockers showing a bit of life. The problem is they've dug themselves such a deep hole that it's going to take an extraordinary effort to get this game back to tie. It was 1-1 after one, and then the Rockers giving up 3 straight. Corrigan and Graham on the dot. Puck bounces around, and it's collected by Thelstrom. Out of his own end, off the mark, and Gonzalez smacks to the far side. Graham behind the net. Millette pressured by Blaisdell along the near side. Rivers realized it was coming his way, couldn't collect, and it's back to Alex Johnson. He has one of the four for Port Huron. Millette in his own end. Corrigan can't get Millette off the puck. He works down low, puck slides. Gonzalez whiffed, hit it with the backhand. Ryder trying to leak out. Across to Blaisdell, the D-man will take it into the zone. He spins back top of the circle. Blaisdell off the end boards. Sits at the bottom of the right wing circle and out of the zone. Port Huron back on the attack. 16:27 to go in the third. 4-1 Port Huron. Blaisdell in the corner. Battling with it. I'm going to try to keep that puck up. Colton over to Wells. Lakney behind the net. He lost it. Tristan Wells over for it. Triangulated by three different Prowlers. Can't get it out of the zone. No, he did. Delayed offside, and Blaisdell, all by his lonesome, will reset. 15:54 to go in the third. Rockers chasing a trio of goals. Thelstrom ahead. Kabatayev pokes it as Cooper plays it. Kabatayev in the corner pressuring. Lockhart trying to get it out of the zone. His pocket pick. Thelstrom one-timer and another save. Second effort, a second save. It's still loose and it comes out of the zone. Man, Reed Cooper, when he is needed to tonight, has stood tall. No reason why it shouldn't be 4-2 right now, except for 72 and White sitting between the pipes to my left. And all you can do is tip the cap as frustration seemed to mount for Motor City. Two highlight reel saves for Reed Cooper. .10 to go in the third period. 4-1 Port Huron on top. Draw on the Motor City end. McGill Diaz along the near side boards. Couple of white, couple of purple jerseys battling for it. Squirts out to Matt Diver. Backhands ahead. At center ice, Simmons Fisher, the tallest one out there, so he's the one that can knock it down first with the paw. Federley sauces it past Rivers. One touch to the middle. Scantleberry, left wing circle, and he ran out of real estate with McGill Diaz. McGill Diaz with a big hit. Rivers on the near side. Works ahead to Sneath. Gullo over the red line. He dumps on net. Sneath the first one there. Backhands it to the far corner. Rivers by his lonesome. Quickly, two white sweaters come to knock the puck away, and it's Bussel that comes out of the zone clean. Can't get it by Gavrilovich. Millette, one-timer to Bussel, and he just got a piece of it, went into the corner, no threat at all. 4-1 Port Huron. Matt Graham, the latest goal scorer. Prowlers have scored the last three. Corrigan to Ryder. Return feed to Corrigan off the mark, and just not on the same page since the first period. Motor City trying to find that link. They haven't been very crisp since that first intermission. Rotundi in his own end. Gavrilovich back skates to the half wall. Rink wide feed. Wells too strong for him. Johnson chips ahead. Rotundi trying to work it back towards the Prowler side. Ryder poked it once. Wells keeps it in. Couldn't get it past Johnson. Wells keeps it in the zone. Here comes Ryder. 225's work at it. And it's Johnson to the near side. James, 2-on-2. On the bottom of the right wing circle. Pass broken up by Gonzalez. Picked back up. Lakney. Ryder. The outlet pass. Over the red line, into the zone. To the far corner. Colton didn't get much on it. And Port Huron quickly gets the puck back to neutral ice and safety. 12:56 to go third period. 4-1 Port Huron. Shot knocked to the corner. Rockers playing with a little more energy. Again, the problem is they need 3 and time slowly ticking away. Oh, Tellstrom just overskated it. Would have been another prime opportunity. Capitaya slides ahead. Tellstrom, bottom of the right wing, circle shot, and of course, Reed Cooper makes another save. 12:33 to go in the third period. 4-1. Port Huron on top. You're watching the Rockers Media Network.
Hey, band members, follow the Motor City Rockers on social media. On Facebook, X, and YouTube at Rockers Hockey. On Instagram and TikTok, find them at Motor City Rockers. For tickets, schedule, and more, visit rockershockey.com. Rock on.
12:33 to go in the third. 4-1. Prowlers on top. Here's some scores from around the Fed. Binghamton on top. Blue Ridge and the Venom tied at 3. Carolina up 5-1 on Watertown. Monroe and Columbus deadlocked at 3. Mississippi with the edge over the Dashers. And Athens leads Baton Rouge 3-1. Rockers chasing 3. Can't score a 3-pointer. Not the hardwood. You got to take it one at a time. They've had a little bit of a better effort. But Reed Cooper, give him a tip of the cap. He's played very strong. Still in the Rockers' end. Tellstrom got the errant pass intended for Tellstrom. Hops up into the Rockers' zone. McGill Diaz takes a few swings at it. Comes up empty. Matt Graham behind the net. Drop off, and it's 5-1. Dylan Marty makes it 5-1 Port Huron. 12:04 to go in the third. His first. And the Prowlers pouring it on here at Big Boy Arena. Let's take another look. Matt Graham set this one up behind the net. Kind of a no-look pass, and Marty didn't have a ton of room. I didn't think Diver was completely out of position. It was a nice play by Port Huron. And that one might be the nail in the coffin. This would be a comeback of epic proportions if the Rockers can net 4 in 12 minutes. Rotundi to Gavrilovich. Return feed broken up. Still have things to play for. These two will rematch tomorrow night at at McMorran Arena up in Port Huron. Sneath on the near side, taken away. Rivers, shot, scores. Eli Rivers gets one back, his second of the night. So a little bit of a spark. They're still chasing 3 with 11:42 to go. So Eli Rivers, his effort nets him his second of the night, his 24th of the season, takes away a pass and picks a corner. So it's 5-2. Heck of a job by Eli Rivers. But again, 3 goals, still a comfortable lead. Rockers need to keep up the pressure. Gavrilovich brings it in his own end. Too strong for Gullo. And Port Huron has it at their own blue line. Lockhart to Gavrilovich. Almost seemed like that was the intended target. Gavrilovich brings it in deep. Leaves it back, Sneath. Shot saved by the belly of Cooper. So Motor City starting to build a little momentum again after a poor second period. Down by 3. You can't do this, but it feels like when the Rockers come up short, there's always the if. If you took away the second period, if you took away this short span, the bookend periods, it's a 1-goal Port Huron lead. shot, Wells couldn't get it. Oaks knocks it down. It was hopping up by a stick, so he just keeps it in deep. Wells in the corner. And Graham picks it up, sends it out of the zone. But the ifs have just become a bit too much, because when Motor City plays well, they're a pretty tough team to handle. Millette, pass across and saved by Gonzalez. He didn't even realize he had it. Keeps the Rockers in it. Ryder with speed. Back to the middle. Oaks between the circles, pushes it wide. Oaks grabs his own miss. Keeps it in deep. Wells battling behind the net. And it comes back to the same word I've used for about 2 months now: consistency. Rockers have talent. It's how often do they consistently show it. And when they have tonight, they've looked all right, but haven't shown it enough, and the scoreboard reflects it. 5-2 Port Huron. Rockers trying to battle back. Down by 3, 10 to go. Bussel knocked it down. Hall picks it up, takes it into the attacking zone. Chips to the middle. Kabatayev. McGill Diaz walks it up. Shot just wide. If you get one there, Motor City, or Port Huron rather, excuse me, might have to tense up a little bit. Federally intercepts the pass, centering feed, chip to the near side. McGill Diaz knocks it down. 3-on-2 for Motor City. Tellstrom just a step too slow, and it's back to the Rockers' end. 9:32 to go in the third. Motor City can find another one and at least makes things interesting down the stretch. Tellstrom at the logo. Sneath couldn't find it. It's the other 17, Scantleberry into the zone. Left wing circle, shot saved by Gonzalez. The latest goal scorer for Port Huron, Marty, to the right side, Simmons Fisher, and it's gloved by Gonzalez. 9:08 to go in the third, 5-2, Port Huron on top. We'll step aside. You're watching Motor City Rockers hockey.
Picked up in front, shot, scores! Numbers line now, shot, scores! Here we go, Snitson, and we got a full line roll! FPHL, full line roll! Hell yeah!
Hey, this is TJ Sneath from the Motor City Rockers, and you're watching the Rockers Broadcast Network, powered by KE Electric Supply.
Back here on the Rockers Media Network, 5-2 Port Huron. Let's take a look at the Empire Division standings. Motor City in 5th, top 5 make a playoff spot. Port Huron and Watertown jockeying for the 3rd spot. And why that position is so important: you are in the 4th seed, you're hosting a play-in game. In the 3 seed, you are already in the playoffs per se. You go straight to the 3-game series. With a win tonight, Watertown clinches, Port Huron clinches the postseason, although it's all but guaranteed they make it in tonight, or the season, I should say, as the Prowlers have a 3-goal edge. Third period, again, hasn't been terrible for Motor City. In fact, the shots right now in the third period aren't nearly as lopsided as they were in the second. He's off the draw. Gonzalez knocks it down. Back behind the net, battle for it to the far side. Rotundi ahead to the boards. Gullo turned over, shot, hit, knocked aside, and a wraparound attempt stymied. Back to the point, Simmons Fisher. In fact, shots right now 9-7 in favor of Motor City. But then the second period, being outscored 2-0, has them in the 3-goal deficit. Gullo into the offensive zone, not much help. He turns it over to Simmons Fisher. Rivers can't keep the puck on the boards, on net. Rebound, couple tries, and Reed Cooper denies it again. Out in front, one save. Back to the point, Rotundi. Near side, Gavrilovich. Shot, no, it was blocked. Lost it on the near side boards. Sneath over to Rotundi. He works around one, Prowler backhands it, finds Rivers. He has 2 tonight. Pass broken up. Bushel got in the way. He's on the end board. 7:54 to go in the third. 5-2. Port Huron on top. Rivers kept it in with the skate and the outstretched stick of Chris Corrigan. Unable to keep it in the Port Huron zone. Corrigan, second effort, just comes up a bit short. 7:38 to go, third period, 3-goal Port Huron lead. James, cross crease pass broken up by Blaisdell. Centering feed, Millette, shot saved by Gonzalez. He didn't even know he had it. He was looking behind him for it. He had it covered up all the same. Still 5-2. Near side draw. Thelstrom, blast. Ooh, I think that hit James in the back. A little bit of friendly fire. Millette couldn't settle it down. Hunter Hall. Ahead. Thelstrom is rushed, broken up by Thelstrom. Kabatayev spins on the near half wall. Rockers looking for 3. Again, they got to get it to 2 before they do anything else. Shot was knocked wide. I like the idea, trying to create chaos. Millette knocked away by Blaisdell. Over to Colton. It's chipped up into the zone. Kabatayev battle for it. He comes away with it. The Russian on the far board, spins around, went down to a knee, kept the puck on the stick. Shot deflected out front. Rivers poking at it, and of course, Reed Cooper gets on top of it. 6:25 to go in the third, and time running low for Motor City. Draw in the far circle. Rockers trying to put any pressure they can on Port Huron, but when you build a 4-goal lead, you're afforded the luxury of playing a little more passively. Sneath had to put it near the net and weave his way down low to no avail. Heinzel off the end board, Simmons Fisher. Gullo intercepts the pass, tried to put it near the front of the net. Heinzel broke it up before it found TJ Sneath. Diver pokes it to the near side. McGill Diaz returns looking for Diver. He surveys the scene. Gullo horseshoes it around the boards. Rivers, the first one there. Spins off a hit. In the corner, 5:48 to go. Port Huron with a 3-goal advantage. Federally puts it down low. Diver in the way. Behind the net, Federally, this is where the Prowlers are dangerous. Oh, Federally looking for the Michigan goal. He couldn't keep the puck on his stick. Oakes. In the near side, it was taken away. Wells back to Gavrilovich. Over to Rotundi. Surveys the scene ahead for Oakes. Backhands it in deep. Lockhart the first one there. Wells comes to pressure. Ryder trying to force the issue. 5:10 to go in the third. Rockers needing 3. Haven't had a penalty here in the third period. Both sides have been well behaved. Rotundi flubbed the pass. Johnson behind Millette. Graham looking for, that was DeCumbus, and a shot into the corner. Ryan Rotundi off the low glass. On the near side, Lakeny. He lost it, and here comes a penalty. It will be hooking on Motor City, and 4:41 left to go. Time for our media timeout. 5-2 Port Huron. Ryder to the box. Rockers on the penalty kill when we come back here watching the Rockers Media Network.
Hi, Avery Smith with Motor City Rockers. My favorite thing about Crunch Fitness is their free weight section. Bench press, dumbbell bench, I'll do rows, about anything you can think of.
I'm Chris Buys. We're currently on the IR. Crunch Fitness, it's got a lot of machines, weights, super beneficial for PT, for my injury right now. They got a nice turf over there too, which is super helpful.
George's here. But one thing I really like about Crunch Fitness is the tanning beds. Rain or snowstorm outside, I don't miss a day in the sun, so I'm always painting my nice bronze color.
106.7 WLLZ. Detroit's Wheels is classic rock that rocks.
Metallica,
Guns N' Roses,
Aerosmith,
AC/DC,
Pearl Jam,
Ozzy.
106.7 WLLZ, Detroit's Wheels.
Rockers with 5 more home games this season. March 21st, 22nd, 23rd, the 28th, and April 12th. Keep an eye out, though. Rockers have a few games in Port Huron. Might be trying some things out for later in the year. Helps with so many games against Port Huron. Unfortunately, Port Huron about to win their 7th here in this 14-game series. Trying to take the Battle of I-94 for the first time since the rivalry started 2 years ago. And with 2 minutes on the board for Brad Ryder, Port Huron doesn't need to score, but I'm sure they'd like another one. And at the end of the year, when you look at your point total, they don't ask if it was at the end of the game when it was decided. They just look at how many. Off the draw. Into the corner. It's Graham that leaves for Millette. On the far side, Millette brings it down. Back to the point, Federley. Near side, Lakey. Takes his time, and again, Port Huron can be very peculiar with what they want to do on this attack. Errant pass, banks to the corner. Matt Graham restarts it. Back to the captain, Austin Federley. Sneath knocked it off the puck. Over to Lakey's stick. Spins back at the half wall to Federley. Back to Millette. Shot saved and trapped by Rico Gonzalez. 1:18 left to go in the penalty kill. 3:58 left to go in regulation. 5-2 Port Huron. Draw the near dot. We'll have to wait a moment. Everyone a little antsy. Comes to the near corner. Goes around Simmons Fisher. Picks it up along the boards. Leaves back Scantleberry to Lockhart. At the point, returns to Scantleberry. Settles it down. Shot! And it hit the inside of the post and came out. Scantleberry nearly made it 6-2. Another shot, another save from Gonzalez. 3:36 left to go in the third, down to 56 seconds after Port Huron nearly found a 6th goal tonight. Gonzalez takes a minute, readjusts the mask. Off the draw. Hall tried to get it ahead to Hall. Again, Motor City's going to have to take some risks if they want any prayer of finding 3 in 3 minutes. Millette back to Federley. And again, Port Huron, the clock is their friend. Millette, a blast, and it's lifted up into the netting. 39 seconds left to go until Brad Ryder's out of the box. Tie up on the draw. Comes back to Federley. Left side. Shot, save, rebound loose. Graham fighting for it. Got it across to Johnson, and he couldn't find his second of the night. On the half wall. Slides across and broken up. Diver got in the way. 15 seconds till Ryder comes out. Millette didn't get it to the net. Sitting at the top of the crease. Second effort. Shot, save. Gonzalez scrambling to get to the near side. Millette back at the point. And Ryder comes out of the box. Successful penalty kill. Ryder straight out of the box, and Millette cuts him off to the puck. Lakney down low. Graham back to Millette, and he can't settle it in. Turned over, shot saved by Cooper. Rivers looking for the hat trick. .2:19 to go, offensive zone draw. Hall left it back, but Scantlebury had it read. 2-on-1. Pass broken up. Hunter Hall trying to work it out of the zone. He's knocked down, and a penalty coming up against Port Huron. High stick against the Prowlers, and Motor City will get a penalty. We'll get a power play, I should say. And I think they're bringing Rico Gonzalez out of the net. No, excuse me, he was just along the near side boards. Scantlebury to the box. Unless the Rockers can score, he'll spend the rest of the game in the sin bin. Here's the penalty. Yeah, the high stick that drew the call. Gonzalez, he was looking to come off the bench. He'll stand between the circles. Tie up off the draw. It's back to Rivers. Here comes Gonzalez. Gullo, 6-on-4. Gullo back to Rivers. Near side one timer. No, just kidding. Tellstrom couldn't get all of it. Rivers knocks it down. Nearly on net, but the rookie picks it up before it can find the goal mouth. Rivers, right side. Feathered, and it ends up between the circles. Gullo got in the way. Down the length of the ice, just a bit wide. Again, with the penalty kill, Port Huron can take shots from wherever they want. Icing not a factor. McGill Diaz rings it around the boards to the near side. Hopping along, Hall, shot off the shoulder of Cooper. He has been strong here tonight. He's allowed just 2 goals on about 34 shots, and it goes in anyway, despite the penalty. Vincent DeCumbis puts the cherry on top for Port Huron. 6-2, Prowlers starting to celebrate as they'll take game 1 of this 2-game homestand. Oh, excuse me, 2-game series, home and home, I should say. Scantlebury is getting into it with some fans, and I think Scantlebury's getting the boot. Scantlebury is not a very well-liked man here at Big Boy Arena, but tonight he'll get the last laugh as his Prowlers lead at 6-2. 6-2 as the final minute is ticking away. We have a whistle and we'll have a draw at neutral ice. .53 seconds left to go in the third. 6-2 Port Huron. Prowlers, since the end of the first period, have dominated. Eli Rivers, the only one to score for Motor City. Oakes. Into the middle, Blaisdell. Over to Wells. Back along the boards. Half a minute left to go in this one. Down the length of the ice, Gonzalez will keep play going. Colton, two-line pass to Wells. Kabatayev works along the half wall. Shot on goal from their own zone for Heinzel. 10 seconds left. Colton back to Wells. He'll chip at it. And Port Huron coming to Big Boy Arena, picked up 3 points, secured a playoff spot. As they get this one 6-2. A strong final 40 minutes from the Port Huron Prowlers give them the 4-goal edge. We'll recap this one when we come back. You've been watching Motor City Rockers Hockey.
Up in front, shot scores! Number one now, shot scores! Here we go, Snitson, and we got a full line roll! FPHL, full line roll! Hell yeah!
Hey, this is Nick McGill-Diaz from the Motor City Rockers. You're watching the Rockers Broadcast Network, powered by KE Electric.
Well, wish I had better news for you out there, Rockers fans, but Port Huron with a 6-2 victory over Motor City. Reggie Millette got the scoring started for Port Huron, 43 seconds in the game, but Eli Rivers answered at the end of the first period, made it 1-1. Pretty even first period. Both sides had moments, but I thought a well-played first. And then Port Huron took over in the second. 2 goals from Lucas Lakey and Alex Johnson to make it 3-1 Port Huron after Johnson came on the power play. A minute into the third, Matt Graham, a perfect feed to the low slot. All he had to do was tap it by Rico Gonzalez, made it 4-1. And then Dylan Marty, his first of the year, and he that was really the nail in the coffin as Marty made it 5-1. Eli Rivers did get a second goal. Timur Gavrilovich picked up his first assist in the purple and black. Nick Gullo, his second of the game, but Motor City falls 6-2 to Port Huron. These two teams will rematch tomorrow night up at McMorran Arena. That game, a 7:05 puck drop up in Port Huron. We'll be back here on the Rockers Media Network next Friday, 7:35 against the Mississippi Seawolves, the one and only game against the boys from Biloxi coming up north. We will talk to you again. Again, thank you to the crew at Park Avenue Productions. Thank you for watching at home, making us a part of your Friday night. I've been Brady Beaton, the voice of Motor City Rocker Hockey. Your final score one more time, Port Huron 6, Motor City 2. Thank you. Hope you all have a safe and wonderful weekend.